How are you?
Good is it?
Good, thanks, man.
Sharp.
I see you again.
Alright. Are you going to do the commentary?
Yeah,
Is it?
just for the fun of it. They need help.
Yeah.
What's up, good man? I saw you two there. I was like, I saw you, but I did not recognize you. Good on you. How you doing?
This was big. Are we free, guys?
Yeah. Are you just gonna do the classic commentating?
Yeah. So is it all free?
I
Is it
think
us
so,
free?
just the three of us, yeah.
I think just we're gonna need to sit here at the screens. Huh?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just sitting back because there's guys sitting there now.
Okay.
So the camera's like, no shame.
Thank you. Sash not in there.
No, you go for it.
How are you doing?
Good on you.
It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too. I didn't know you were gonna commentate.
Yeah, they asked me. It was this Wednesday.
Mm.
They played yesterday at us ITEC squad game.
Oh.
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, shit. Yes, what a freaking day this is, eh?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. Lovely day.
Oh gosh. Who won the toss? Do you know?
Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Elected the ball first.
Is Rowan gonna play?
No.
No,
He's
not
not
this
playing.
one. No.
Team. Yeah. Oof. Is the
This SVD team is most your team. Badges.
golden badge, golden ring badges.
Ek het miskien net help met die uitspraak van 'n paar van die ouens se name.
Yeah, so
That's the one thing I was a bit concerned
Yeah,
about. I'm not
it's-
too familiar with their names.
golden ring badges is Matthew Christensen.
Yes. Oh my goodness.
We're starting off sorry.
Do you know? Sorry, this was all live.
No, I don't think so. Because he said, you'll see here when it says live. That I'm not sure now. Because now this thing is
It
on.
looks pretty live.
It looks pretty live.
Welcome.
Yeah. But this is probably the volume.
Nice.
So we pull up. Yeah, and then you're gonna see move there.
Okay. Right, good afternoon to all our viewers and viewers listening. It's I van Wyk speaking, and alongside me I've got John Harmer and Sashinta Galenajay. Welcome to Mangaung Oval. It's a CSA T20 challenge match between the ITEC Knights and the Garden Route Badgers that's taking place on a spectacular day here in Bloemfontein. The news from the toss is that the Knights has won the toss and elected to bowl first. Looks a pretty good wicket. Looks nice and hard and fast. Slightly cracked towards the Logan end. Yeah, it looks good for run scoring. Just going to go through the team list here. For the Knights, we've got Gian Klute, Jacques Slyman, Garner Tar, Dian Forrester, Aubrey Swanepoel, Patrick Botha, Isaac Tigale, Tian van Vieren, Dane Piet, Sitebele Langa, and Lipo Mpungasi. Then for the Garden Route Badgers, we've got Matthew Christensen, Carl Jacobs, Therese Carlse, John Duplessis, who's captain and wicketkeeper, Kelly Smuts, Jaldi van Brieses, Thomas Kaber, Heath Richards, Marcelo Piet, Kwesi Gumedi, and Jared Jardine. Big welcome here to John Harmer and Sashinta Galenajay. Yeah, what do you guys think of this encounter that's lying ahead of us?
Yeah, thank you, Oya. It's an absolutely beautiful day for cricket. We were just discussing it beforehand, and yeah, it's very exciting. Debutant here in the box, and we're looking forward to what's lying ahead for the cricket year.
All right, good afternoon to all our viewers. Thank you, Aya, for introducing us. Look, it looks like an absolute belter outside there. And I think it was a good toss for the Knights to win. It should be quite a good game, quite a competitive game. I think we have something to look forward to.
Yeah, we've also got an exciting voice who you guys are going to listen to later on in Ryan McLaren. We are glad to welcome Mackie as well, but I'm sure you'll hear from him later on. Yeah, as discussed, it's a beautiful day here in Bloemfontein. It's probably a bit warm, but no real wind to speak of, and it's going to be a temperature of expecting 35 degrees mid-afternoon. Like discussed, the pitch looks pretty good. Slightly cracked towards the Logan end, but pretty good for run scoring. It's a big playing area as well as a fast outfield. I think the Knights will favour themselves here chasing, John.
Yeah, and of course this is the Knights opening their account in this T20. Haven't played a game yet. What would they be expecting coming out? Hopefully, yeah, it's a home fixture. They have the advantage. They've won the toss and they're hoping for the result today.
I think, Aya, for me, something that's quite interesting is they just finished the 4-day competition, coming straight into the T20. So I think it will be quite nice to see how the players adjust to the format of the game. Obviously, we know the vast difference between the two of the 4-day and the T20 comp, and it takes a bit of adjustment, in terms of style of play and intensity. So I think it'll be quite interesting to see how the players adapt to today's game and see where their skill level is at in this format.
Yeah, it's a good point, Sashinta. I think the Knights is a quite formidable team. With actually quite of lots extra Proteas, and then also a current Protea and Dane Piet, who I think on this big playing field today will be instrumental. The Garden Route Badgers coming from a loss on Wednesday against the Northern Cape Heat, so I also think it's maybe a bit of a tactic, bowling first. To get Golden Rouge Badgers in and put them under pressure up front.
Sorry, John and I just hear Mackie on the side here saying that he doesn't have a voice. Looks like he's more keen to play out there than commentate.
Yeah, Mackie's looking still 28. He
Yeah.
might as well run in and get a couple of balls going here and, on this flat wicket today.
Yeah, you mentioned now, with Dane Pete joining in the Knights side and having just come back from New Zealand with the Proteas. What do you think, the impact is of having that senior player who's had that level of experience join a squad and what he brings to the side?
Yeah, I think Dane Pete, the experience he brings to the team is you can't put a value on that.
Yeah.
And just how he works with the younger players, because amongst all the experience there is some youth in the Knights team, and I think the experience he can give over to a young player like a Mondi Mankunku, that you can't put a price on that value. So I think just the culture he brings, the experience of tactics, and just overall as a support character in the team, I think that's invaluable.
Yeah, I think that's a brilliant point I mentioned there as well about Pete learning from, or Monde learning from Dane. I think as a spinner as well, just imagine the knowledge you can gain from the pace you bowl, the areas, the line, the length you bowl. Although he's coming from a test squad, I think you can still learn a lot from his experience. And that's, you can't put a price on that. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and I think going forward, any young player joining in the squad, to have that reassurance, as a young player looking up to a guy who's represented the country at the highest level, being able to gain that experience from him, I think, for your career and, for your getting your game ready, it's just invaluable, as you've stated.
Yeah, and it also helps that he's in good current bowling form. He had a terrific tour of New Zealand in the one test he did play. So I think also that, not only in terms of off the field, but I think on the field, in the middle overs, especially on a big field like today, the value he adds towards this match alone for the Knights is, it's a massive asset. It's a massive asset.
Yeah, speaking to the coaching staff as they were warming up and them just complimenting and saying, he's leading on and off the field, and as you said, being in form as a senior player, it just has such a morale boost, especially in the middle overs. Well, we'll be dependent on when we see him come into bowl, but just knowing that this player is coming in and he backs his ability, and the guys can feed off that energy while he comes in.
Just something I want to ask you guys, what do you think tactically was the Knights' plan to bowl first in today's game?
I think that's a good question, Sasinta. I think the Knights fancy themselves with the experience in the batting lineup to chase any score down, and it can be hard to know what to post here. I think we'll hear later on from Ron McLaren. It is a big field, you need to know your angles as a fielder. It is difficult to stop twos and ones. I think with the experience as well as the home field advantage, I think they will fancy themselves chasing. I think personally, I don't think the wicket's going to make a lot of a difference, as it's only an afternoon game. The wicket actually looks quite fresh. It looks nice and hard and fast. So I don't think it's got to do with conditions. I just think it's got to do with them fancying themselves with the experience in their batting lineup to chase anything down. It can be difficult as a young batting lineup coming to Mangaung Oval to know how to go about your innings and how to pace your innings.
Yeah, I just want to second that. They're very confident in their batting ability, the Knights. They know the wicket, it's their first game, see the conditions, and I think they'll adjust their game as they go along, as the players are getting ready to take the field.
Yeah, I think also the Knights, they're on the back of two very good competitions so far. In the one-day comp, where they finished first, and then the four-day comp where they lost in the final some 10 days ago against Northern Cape Heat. So they are on the back of good confidence. They are looking to go back into Division 1, which looks very much like the case this season. So I think chasing a score today, and with the, like I said earlier, with the experienced batting lineup, they should fancy themselves here.
The players taking to the field right now. Very high excitement for this game, much to be discovered. Seeing in terms of form in this new format, very exciting as the T20 league starts. I know all the sides are very excited for this format. It's a format that's taken the world by storm recently. You know, a lot of more T20 cricket has been played. There's been a lot of discussion around T20 cricket and the nature of the game in regards to the Test cricket. But here we are in what we call the most exciting format, and we're looking forward to what will be played today.
As we see the Knights took the field, it looks like Tiaan van Vieren is going to open the bowling from the Willows end. And we've got the two Golden Root badges batters at the crease in Carl Jacobs and Matthew Christensen, who's going to open their account for the Golden Root badges.
It's going to be interesting to see the SVD boys' approach to this game. I think obviously playing away from home is also a little bit of a challenge. You know, you got to get used to the conditions and the pitch, and for them to be put in, I'm sure they'll be looking for a good start, especially to their campaign, and not only to the campaign but to this game as well, to put the Knights on a back foot, because I think a good score should be posted on this pitch. Would you agree, gents?
Yeah. Off we go. We've got Tiaan van Vieren, we've got one slip, a third man and a deep square. First ball wide outside off, over the covers to start off Golden Root badges account, and they start off with 2 runs there.
Well, I think that first ball shows the intent there.
Yeah, Sash, I just wanted to add to that. I mean, from their side, you know, having bitterly just missed out on the opening game, they've got a massive point to prove.
Yeah.
Playing away, you know, first 6 overs, why not attack it, show intent, and take the game to the Knights today.
Van Vieren, second ball of the innings. Oh, slip there at the crease. The wicket is quite grassy.
Hopefully no damage done.
Looks like Tiaan got up quite without a niggle there, which is good to see. Interesting to see the offside field here. We've got a point that looks like he's in front of square, quite close, and one cover deep on the ring. It looks like they're leaving the point area vacant. Obviously a tactic from the left armer who's bowling over the wickets to the right-hander. We've got no mid-wicket in play, short fine up the ring. It looks like he's going to hit a hard length here. As Jacobs takes one of his pads into the vacant mid-wicket area. I think, Sachinta, I can agree with you. I think the Golden Root badges playing away, they've got nothing to lose. And I think both teams actually, looking at conditions, will target the power play. Field is up, pace on the ball. It looks, by the look of things, of 3 balls, the first 3 balls, it looks like a good wicket. So, you know, actually not a bad thing for the Golden Root badges to put the Knights under early pressure and get a good score on the board. So you see Matthew Christensen facing his first ball outside off. Good bounce and pace, good carry to Garnet to Oz, the keeper.
Looks like it's a wonderful carry.
Yeah.
See Christensen trusting the bounce and throwing his hands at that one. I think something you can definitely guarantee on this wicket is that you will get value for your shots here, and with a fast outfield.
Fourth ball of the over from Fearon over the wickets to Christensen. Nice and straight, good length. They take a quick scampered single into the vacant mid-wicket area. Yeah, I agree. So Shintard looks like discussed beforehand. It looks like a good, hard, fast wicket. I think the bowler's tactics will be in the power play to go top of the stumps, try and hit the splice off the bat. That's why we can see there's third man is quite square and a deep square is out. And yeah, I think it's the trick is not going to be to over pitch, as we see. Third man goes to a deep point and short third is in position and slip has been taken out into mid wicket. Fifth ball of the over from Fearon over the wickets to Jacobs. Big woof over Cow, swing and a miss.
I think something I've picked up lately over cricket in general is that deep point fielder it was not a regulationary fielding position. It was mostly, a deep cover, and now a lot of the teams are utilising that space where they're inviting the players to play a bit squarer and putting that deep point. I think quite an interesting tactic.
Would you say it's evolution of the game?
So the last ball of the first over, Tiago Fearon over the wickets, as Carl Jacob sees it through the keeper. Yeah, I think I agree. That's a good point, Sashi Tav. We do see it a lot in test matches as well, where it gets used as a cover as a boundary option. You don't mind a player looking for a square option only for one run. It brings the slips into play. You just need to find a balance between leaking runs and because it is easy on a pitch like this to leak runs through a short third man area. But I think if your bowler is nice and disciplined, you can bowl tight lines. It is an evolution, like John said, for fielding placements and the game.
I mean, traditionally, from a school standpoint, your power play, you've always got to find a third man. It's always been the rule of thumb, and moving from that, it's in unknown waters. But I mean, it's something, as we know in cricket, the game's always evolving.
There you go. Sitembele Langa opens the account from the Logan end. Good length ball outside off. One goes to that deep point we just discussed. Sitembele Langa bowls with a deep point and a deep square, short third up and short fine up.
I don't know.
Talking back to the evolution of the game, I think a massive example is A.B. de Villiers and how he missed the 360, the Dilshan scoop. These were not traditional shots, and when first introduced to cricket, it was thought as reckless, and now it's become a big part of what is trained.
Quite interesting. Deep point comes up, long goes out. It's a terrific shot by Carl Jacobs over cover for 6. That's a terrific shot. Good length ball from Sitembele Langa, but Carl Jacobs just picked it up over covers. That's a good shot.
It's a beautiful shot. You don't see it often. The traditional cover drive going over extra cover covers region all the way. Beautiful shot there.
He's absolutely creamed that. That is an unbelievable shot. I think that shot over cover is very underrated. It is a very difficult shot to play, and I think he has absolutely nailed that.
Yes, Sitembele Langa, third ball of the over.
Bowled him, cleaned him up. What a beautiful response here. Wow.
Yeah, just rectifying there from his previous ball of a long one and the deep square out. It was pretty obvious that he's going to bowl straight. Looked like a good nut there outside off. Maybe doing something from the wicket. It looked like it nipped out slightly, and he bowled Carl Jacobs out, who's gone for 9 runs, faced 6 balls. And that's the first wicket for the Knights.
What a beautiful delivery. Just
Let
going.
me, let me just add to my commentary and just say that Langa has absolutely nailed the stops there. Beautiful comeback. I think he was definitely happy after that 6, after bowling his castling his stumps like I said.
Just going back to the evolution of the game as a batsman, I mean, I don't think there's a shot more satisfying for any batsman if you know you've got it in Arsenal, the traditional cover drive, and especially if you can play all the way. We've seen a lot of new shots, reverse scoops, all these new shots, but I think the traditional things from a batting perspective with batsmen alongside me, what is your take on in your game, playing that shot, the traditional?
I think it's a very good point there you make, John. I think it's good to start your journey as a cricketer from the foundation of the basics, and then from there evolve your game.
As we see Therese Carlse coming to the crease, left-hander for the Badgers. He's going to face his first ball in the 4th ball of the 2nd over. We've got a third man out in a deep square position. First ball outside off to Carlse. He hits it pretty well to cover who's on the ring for a dot. Good steady start here for the Knights, gents. So we've got 2 balls left in the 2nd over, 11 runs for 1 wicket. As Sitembele Langa looks to close his over off. Langa, 5th ball of the over. Good length delivery. Another dot for the Knights.
It's no problem.
Sorry to our viewers, as we're just having a bit of technical difficulties, but our image will be restored quite shortly.
Final ball of the last over from Sitembele Langa. He bowls a good length, top off, brilliant way to finish his the 2nd over of the Badgers innings. And after 2 overs, the Garden Route Badgers 11 runs for 1 wicket. It's only the 1 wicket has fell off Carl Jacobs bowled by Sitembele Langa.
It's a beautiful over for Langa to come back there after getting hit for a 6. I think it shows a bit of resilience there. We get in a couple of dots after that.
There goes Van Vuuren bowling the 3rd over of the power play. Left armer over the wickets. He bowls to Christensen, who drops and runs for 1 run into the offside, into that vacant point area, and he gets off strike. Therese Carl also on strike again.
Something we haven't discussed yet, but in the T20 format, the importance of wickets and how it changes the game in a moment. We just had that brilliant shot over extra cover. The momentum, we're still trying to establish, that tug of war, who's taking momentum here, and the wicket has fallen, and at the moment, Knights are trying to build on that.
Van Vuuren to Carlse, wide outside off, thick edge, and that goes for 4 into the 3rd man area, slightly wide from Van Vuuren. Carlse had a big woof at it outside off, and it's 4 streaky runs for the Badgers.
Van Vuuren looks like he slightly missed his line there. I don't think he was looking to go that wide, especially with no deep points or deep cover out.
Van Vuuren with an attempted bouncer, down leg wide. Yeah, I agree, Stash. I think slightly wide executed a previous delivery, and it gets Carlse going. You can immediately see the effect it has on Van Vuuren. He's immediately a bit under pressure, and he opts for a different delivery. makes sense with the deep square out. Bounce is a good ploy, but executed just slightly down leg there. As we see him run in for the third ball of the third over in the power play. Good length delivery. And Carl also takes one run to third man outside of.
I think that's just the perfect example this over. You know, cricket is a game of margins, and especially in the T20 format, where if you miss your line and length, the momentum can quickly shift within the over in the context of the battle between the bowler and the batsman. And Van Vuuren just missing his mark there, just narrowly twice, and just that bit of pressure that's come off, just a bit of breathing space for the batsman as they get ready to face again.
Van Vuuren to Christensen, fourth ball of the third over. Good length outside off, and Christensen is happy to take one in the vacant point area.
I think a wonderful point there you mentioned earlier, John, was momentum. And it's easy to kind of shift that momentum from one team to the other. And a couple of boundaries can change the momentum of one side, and all of a sudden the bowler feels pressure, the team feels pressure. So that momentum is quite crucial in a T20 format.
Van Vuuren, fifth ball of the third over. He bowls to Therese Corals.
Beautiful shot.
Laces it through the covers. 4 runs for the Badgers.
Stand and deliver, boys. Brilliant shot there.
Yeah, and I think John made a good point earlier about wickets in the power play. A lot of T20 teams change their mindset of just getting unscathed through the power play to taking wickets in the power play, because we all know if you can try and get 3 wickets in the power play, you've pretty much got the batting team on hold, and that's where the mentality changed. Or as we see it, the terrific delivery from Van Vuuren, took off from the deck outside off, squared Therese Corals up, and that's the end of the third over in the power play.
Cricket's such a mental game. Small margins, every over, every delivery, there's a battle, there's a fight ensuing of this constant cat and mouse between batsman and bowler. And it's frustrating as a bowler when you have this plan in hand and you can't execute it in that moment. And so we're seeing that today just a bit so far. Where those small margins really do make the difference. And of that final delivery of that final over, just a good line and length still does the job.
So we see a bowling change from the Loch Logan end. Nippon Bungusi bowling his first ball. Matthew Christensen tries it to middle for no run. Yeah, Sashinta, you as a batter and as a former captain for the University of the Free State, how crucial do you feel wickets in a power play is in a T20 match? As Nipo Mpungasi bowls a hard length delivery, Christensen takes a wake over mid-wicket for 2 runs.
Thank you, Aya, for your question. I think I followed your footsteps there on the captaincy at the university, so I think we can both answer this question. I actually was thinking about it now. As a batting unit, specifically for the SV DH side here, it's almost like there's a balance between going, capitalizing in the first 6 overs, bowler steaming in.
Good bouncer there to Matthew Christensen. It is a risky delivery with fine leg up, but Matthew Christensen totally rushed by Mpungasi.
Good pace there for also. Brilliant.
Good carry to the keeper, Tar, who's standing quite far back.
That's a beautiful delivery.
Just going back to your question, I think it's interesting how, as a batting team, to balance between attacking and also not losing wickets is a big factor here.
as we see from that previous delivery, cow corner going out, we've got a deep square and a cow. Batter stepped away there and Bungasa, good Yorker wide outside off for another dot. Good over so far, only conceding 2. Christensen under a bit of pressure, yeah?
We're seeing that cat and mouse being played now with the field change. Christensen trying to open up the offside for him, just missing out there.
Straight into the pads, makes sense for his field, and another dot from Bungasi, pressure building here on Christensen.
I think for the Knights here, just going back to your question, wickets in the power play is such an important factor, specifically when we spoke about the aspect of momentum. I think teams in the first 6 want to capitalize, and once they lose a couple of wickets, it's almost like you're starting the game on a back foot.
Bungasi last ball of the over, gets flicked, beats, Jane beat that short fine, and Matthew Christensen with a fortunate 4 runs there to release a bit of pressure and finish the over. After 4 overs, the Gone Badgers 29 for 1.
Sash, I just wanted to add, just before that ball was bowled, you felt the building of the pressure. And, we've seen it time and time again, especially in the T20 format, where there is a release shot at the end, or you're expecting something, and that's exactly what we saw there. Bowler not hitting his length exactly and getting the 4 runs.
Ideally, I think, in that moment, the batters are trying to get runs. Obviously, everyone knows the ball's hard, field's up, great time to get runs. So, as a batting unit, it's very, very important to get that balance between how many runs do we need and how many wickets are willing to lose, and, what are our risk, low risk, high risk options.
Stian van Vuren starting the 5th over of the power play, bowling 3 overs here in the power play, which is not very common. You don't see that often anymore in T20 cricket, where a bowler bowls out of most of the power play. He's bowling to Therese Carroll, so he's on strike. Good length delivery into the hip. As you can see, Carroll's trying to open up the offside. I also think, Sashinta, what wickets in the power play does is it just it holds scoring in the middle overs when spin might come on, when there's more than 2 fielders allowed outside the ring, and it's just when you don't have wickets in hand, it's just that more difficult to go hard in the middle overs, where if you've got wickets in hand. Batters these days with the bats and the hard balls and their fast wickets, they keep on going hard in the middle overs, despite 5 fielders on the boundary. As Van Vuren bowls the second ball off the over for Carl's right shot over his head, 4 runs.
Beautiful shot there. Just from your side, Sash, what do you think in this situation with 4 overs into this game, 33 for 1, current run rate at 7.6? Do you think they'll be satisfied with the score where they're at the moment, or do you think they'll push hard this last bit of the power play?
So we see the 3rd ball off the over, down leg wide.
Look, I think the Badgers will be happy with losing just 1 wicket here. I think we can slightly see a little bit of momentum also shifting now to the Badgers with the boundary and a wide. I think it's important here for the Knights to just stay calm. I think there's about a few over left for the power play.
Yeah, 10 balls. So Vuren bowls the 3rd ball off the over again. Full Coral, so it goes over the top, it's very high, and it goes all the way for 6. Van Vuren over pitches again, and now all of a sudden it looks like the Badgers is in a very commanding position in the power play. Yeah, to answer your question there, I agree with Sashita. I think the Badgers, before that ball, I thought it was quite on a knife edge, but I think the Badgers will be happy where they're at, only losing 1 wicket. And they're quite off to a fast start now, as we still have three deliveries remaining in this fifth over, and with the over to go in a power play, the Badgers are fancying themselves here in the power play.
Just a testament to how quickly momentum can shift. Run rate now at 8.9. Looking good.
Van Vuren, hard length delivery, as Carl also plays it out to deep square, and they're turning for two. Good 2 runs. That's a good throw from Charles to the keeper as the umpire gives a run out decision. Not that, that was fairly close.
Very close indeed.
Wow.
I thought that it was quite close. Umpire just turning that down that decision.
Sharp thinking there from the keeper, Garnetar. Especially in this format, we talk about moments of brilliance on the field, and a moment like that, the momentum can shift so quickly. Later in the game, moments like these truly stand out and can shift, and we're constantly talking about the momentum shift, and we almost had one there.
2 important balls left in this fifth over in the power play. Van Vuren to Carl, so as the Badgers catches momentum. Good length delivery into leg stump. Carl also takes away for 1 out to Bungasi on deep square, only for 1 run.
I think something you mentioned very interesting earlier was a bowler bowling 3 overs. In the power play is very, very uncommon, I would say. And I wonder if the Knights are regretting this decision after this over, although Van Vuren has come back quite well with his last 2 balls going for singles. It'll be important for him to close this over to just ensure damage control is kept on a low.
Yeah, very important delivery. A last ball of the fifth. Van Vuren to Christensen. Full, and Christensen plays it quite conservatively for 1 run as he steals the strike for the last over of the power play. So I agree. I feel in a power play, the more the batter seal the bowler, I think the more advantage for a batter as they can start targeting the bowler for the next over.
Yeah, and as we're discussing, I think Van Vuren would be bitterly disappointed with it over, having started so well. And that being the over, that's the momentum has shifted, it has been costly. And looking forward in the game, is this the over where something had turned in the context of the game? The strategic play. So they took a risk, they tried something, has not paid off as the Knights would have liked to imagine. Continuing now for the final over of the power play.
There goes Bungasi from the Loch Logan end to Christensen, good length delivery, and he plays it to short third man for 1 run.
Quite interesting here with the 2 batsmen batting here, almost playing 2 different roles where Carlson seems the more aggressor and Christensen happy to take a single and feed strike off to Carlson. I think it's quite a good balance as well, in terms of rotation of strike and boundary options with the 2 batsmen. It gives them a good start to this power play.
Yeah, and also a natural variation of the right hand, left hand combination. It just ensures some inconsistency from the bowler, as it's difficult to adapt to, as we see the second ball of the over. Good bouncer again from Bungasi, good pace and carry to the keeper for a dot.
Yeah, Carlson clearly showing his intentions here as being the aggressor. And as you said now, with the left hand, right hand combination as a bowler, it's always just disrupting your rhythm, just that ever so slightly, fields constantly moving around. So, very tactical play here, and so far it's worked to good effect.
Yeah, well, you always feel with 1 wicket down, the batters is going to target a last over of the power play. So, quite exciting, 4 balls to go as Bungasi steams in from the Loch Logan end. Wide outside off, hit hard, straight to deep point for 1 run.
Very square boundary riders here as a deep point and a deep square leg.
We've been discussing it, and that deep point was almost in play there. So, very interesting field.
So we see fine leg goes out and a deep square. I think it's pretty obvious what the plan and tactics going to be here.
Full and straight, isn't it?
Double bluff.
We see Bugasi steams in from Loch Logan and bowling for good pace. Bouncer, he takes it on in front of square. Forrester goes around, takes 1 run. Quite like this play as Christensen hasn't looked comfortable with Bugasi's short pitch deliveries so far in this innings.
Bugasi bowling a really good spell here so far. Only conceding the 9 runs. Batsmen have looked a bit uncomfortable with the pace so far. The shorter ball working, they're comfortable with it. Let's see how it continues.
2 exciting balls left here. As Bugasi from the Loch Logan end short again into the wicket as Carlos plays it out to deep point for 1. Only 4 runs from this over so far with 1 ball remaining in the power play. But say the Knights bringing it back nicely in this last over of the power play. My personal feeling, this is an incredible, important delivery for momentum for the rest of the innings. Let's see if the Knights can finish it off well.
Yeah, closing the power play.
Oh, attempted bouncer again, just slightly a bit too much. Targeted down leg, and Christensen helps it for 4 runs as the power play is concluded. The Golden Root Badgers off to a good start here at Mangaung Oval. 52 for 1 after 6 overs. Beautiful day here at Mangaung Oval. 35 degrees Celsius. No real wind to speak of. A gentle breeze from the west as we are here at Mangaung Oval for this CSA T20 Challenge match, Division 2 between the ITEC Knights and the Golden Root Badgers.
Gentlemen, fair to say, Badgers probably have won that first half of the battle here at the Mangaung Oval.
I think they would be very happy with the position they're in, considering the immense pressure that was put on them as we're seeing spin being introduced. And we spoke about the final delivery, and it's happened on two overs where the final ball has gone for that boundary and just releasing that pressure, especially with that change going over now to the second power play. Can they just finish the overs off stronger? But beautifully played so far by SVD.
Dane Pitt from the Willows into Carlse as he fires it into the pads for no run. We've got a deep, all 5 fielders out as allowed outside the mandatory power play. Pitt, bottom edge, and Carlse stays his ground.
Waiting for confirmation.
And that's out. Great catch by Garner Tan. Interesting, boys, as we just saw the ball just staying a bit low. Good catch from Garner Tan. That's the end of Therese Carls for his 24. Eventful knock and a much needed wicket there for the Knights, Jacinta.
Just as we say, Pitt with the experience produces a wicket. The Protea Fire coming in. I think that was a very key wicket in terms of the balance in this game. For the Knights to take that wicket as Carl also was still looking to score a couple of runs here.
Not much we needed wicket there from the ITEC Knights as we welcome a former player for the Knights and has seen the Mangaung Oval for a long time of his career as his home ground. Ryan McLaren, welcome Ryan.
Thanks Edge, thank you. Afternoon to all the viewers and to Sash as well. Nice a good start here by the Badgers. It was timely dismissal there by Dane Pitt. I thought that Carlos was actually going quite nicely and he struck the ball cleanly as well. Seems like a good surface.
As we see John du Plessis coming to the crease, captain of the Golden Root Badgers. John du Plessis having a good season so far. Ryan, you played at this venue and considered it your home ground for a long time of your career. How do you feel? What do you feel is maybe a poor score here on this particular wicket?
Look, it's always a difficult one to, without us really assessing the wicket, going out there this afternoon, good start there by Duplessis and just punching one above or in front of square. No, it's generally a good one-day wicket. As you always know that, that especially in the middle part of the square, as we see it now in front of us, it's generally good wickets, and I think it's always a difficult place to defend. But in T20 cricket, you'd think that 170, sometimes 170, 180 is a par score here. That's just as a general guide, but again, as I say, you always assess on the day and see how things go. You have had surfaces in the past that have actually turned quite a bit, but generally a great place to bat, and sometimes a very tough place to bowl as well.
Yeah, so we see John Duplessis off to a very convincing start. He takes one too long on, and Matthew Christensen going to face his first ball from the Dane Piet over. Fifth ball of the over. Yes, I agree, Ryan McLaren. It looks like it's a decent wicket and a tough place to defend. I think you will know personally as a fielder as well. You probably need to know your angles a bit better here to cut off twos. As this over concludes with one run into a vacant wicket at pushing hard for two.
Yeah, good start by Dane Pitts. Just one for four in that first over. And 100%. I think that from a captaincy point of view, understanding your angles and making sure that you sort of cut off those twos, which you in most other grounds across the country you'd be. It's a pretty conventional way of setting fields, but especially over here with the size that we've got specifically today over here, there's big pockets, and we always spoke over here about the pockets that you've got to try and look to attack, without trying to take on the boundary rider, that you actually, hitting those gaps hard for 2 or 3 and so on, because you do find yourself having a lot of 2s and 3s in one-day cricket over here. It's something that a guy like Pat Porter will understand well as a captain. To see another bowling change at Dean Forrester, Afi's old boy.
Yeah, from North Logan end. He's going to bowl to Matthew Christensen. His first delivery, five fielders out. Good length delivery, drops it into the offside for one run.
Seems to have had a good start for the Knights, Forrester. Been quite impressed with his season up to now, and has performed well both 4-day cricket and one-day cricket as well. Got some big scores up at the top end for them with a bat, and if I'm not mistaken, had a good debut as well in the one-day game with a ball as well.
Yeah, it was against Golden Root Badgers in Oudtshoorn, where you took a fiver and he scored 100 with the Knights in heaps of trouble. I think it was 56 for 5, and guiding them to a victory in that first delivery as he bowls a nice full and straight delivery.
I think we can overemphasize on the fact that it wasn't a good debut, Mackie. I think he took 6 to score 100, and he took a hat trick.
Was it a hat trick as well?
Took a hat trick as well.
So I think you can't get any better in terms of debuts when you.
Well, normally you start off and it can only get better from there.
As Forrester bowls his third ball and over, he bowls to Matthew Christensen, guys it to third man.
I think, Mackie, something you mentioned earlier was the size of this ground, and the emphasis was probably placed more on those 1s and 2s and 3s on this field. So the middle period, would you say, is quite crucial in setting up a good score here on this field?
Yeah, I think it's the ability we always speak about the importance of that 7 to 15 phase in T20 cricket. Getting out of the power play, where the Badgers have actually had a good power play to start off with. And how you understand what role a guy like Christensen's going to have. Okay, yes, he's probably not hit a lot of boundaries, but he's just ticking it over, and Duplessis is already look pretty comfortable. So again, the role of the spin and how you play, and the smarts of playing the spin in that phase is, as I say, yes, you maybe try and take him on if a guy backs himself against Dane Pitt with the 2 right-handers. You fancy someone's going to have to try and take him on. With a guy on the other side, maybe the other guy on the other side maybe ticking it over. But see, we've got 3 spinners yet to look at from a Knights point of view. You've got Botha and you've got Pitt, and then So I'm missing the third one.
Sonnepool?
Sonnepool, sorry. I'm trying to, I've missed him. So yeah, I think that's going to be a crucial phase of the game today, with how the Badgers take on those three spinners.
Final ball of the 8th over here. Quite important ball here for Forrester's first over. He's only conceded 5 runs or 5 balls. He's going to finish it out to John du Plessis as he bowls a good length ball, good shot to long off for 1 run.
Yeah, I think just to add to what we discussed, to take on from a seam point of view is again the use of the short ball, because you've got these big boundaries as well. Sometimes we found that it's quite an effective place over here to use even a slower bounce or the bounce on some, because the top edge doesn't easily, unless you've got express pace, the top edge doesn't necessarily just go for 6. So that's also something tactically that they can have a look at.
Mackie, we've seen modern T20 teams now, especially in the SO20 and comps like the IPL and Big Bash. It seems like most batting teams who bats quite deep, they just keep on going hard in the middle overs. We're playing at a venue like today with fairly big boundaries. Does your tactic need to change slightly, or would batters seem to keep on going hard at it?
I think it depends on your lineup, number one, and a lot of those teams that you see in the PSL and the IPL have got guys batting until probably 8 or 9 who can comfortably clear the boundary, and where the grounds are a lot smaller, especially straight, than what we have here. So I think you can afford, with the depth that they've got in their lineups, to go, put foot to the pedal for as long as possible. Where you probably over here, you're going to be banking on a couple of guys to carry you through the innings and try and get you to set up a base and it's chip straight out to long on, and whoa.
It just seemed like that Botha overran that ball at 1 bounce for 4 for John du Plessis. 2 dots and attempted boundary shot there. Must probably go down as a lost opportunity maybe.
Seems like he lost the flight of the ball there.
He was sort of running, he was attacking, it looked like he'd run infield to try and get hold of it, and then all of a sudden, I can't imagine there being a big breeze here.
It's a fantastic shot.
Works it out. And vacant mid-wicket is a mix-up, and the throw goes to the bowler's end. John du Plessis looking quite set. He takes 2 runs there.
It must be all. It looked like a just little gentle just chip into the air, and I thought it was going to maybe bounce short, and actually carried quite. He actually timed it probably better than what we thought he did.
Yeah, it looked for all money. That was another wicket for the night, as Pete bowls a fifth ball. Well bowled as he takes 1 into the offside.
Yeah, just back to your point on the batting side of things. You look at it now. We're 8 overs into the 9th over, and they positioned pretty well. And you'd feel like it'd be key that one of these two take them through to about over 15 or 16. But with the foundation that they've got, you're expecting one of the two of them now to take a bit of ownership and to put real pressure on the Knights bowling attack. And if that's, I wouldn't be surprised if they bring in a bit of spin here now. Well, it looks like they might be giving Langa another over. But one of these two now have got to start putting real pressure on them.
Yeah, so to viewers who's just tuning in, it's the Garden Route Badgers who's on 70 for 2, of the 9 overs. He had Mangaung over for the CSA T20 challenge match between the ITEC Knights and the Garden Route Badgers. Bowling change from the Loch Logan end as Sitimbile Langa is back into the attack. Replacing Forrester, who had a good first over from the Loch Logan end. Yeah, you mentioned Deon Forrester back here has a good season. I know Forrester quite well personally. He's extreme hard worker, and I think as a young player he's stepped up well this season, and I think he cemented his place in this team.
Yeah, I'm really impressed. Look, if it's anything to go by with some of the previous Afri cricketers we've seen in the years, then it bodes really well for us from a Knights point of view, and also from a South African cricket point of view. But obviously, great to hear if there's good work ethic and character combined. We always speak about guys having a talent and ability, but whether you've got the character to come with it. So he started really well, and hopefully game just goes from one level to the next.
It's long up from the Logan end.
Great shot. It's a great shot.
It's a great shot.
Beautiful shot.
Just changing the length for Flanga's delivery there, meet the ball on a half volley, and he beats Midhoff, who's up inside the circle for a great shot for 4 runs. As momentum all the more is looking to shift towards the Badgers side in this innings.
A little touch of class there, not necessarily the blasting and a real power stroke, but just whilst down the wicket and a real great position transfer into the ball, and obviously added to that, just pierced the gap perfectly.
Yeah.
Speaking of someone that's also had a decent season, he impressed John du Plessis. I think he's had a couple of CSA games as well.
It looks like a quite organised batter as long as stays straight. He takes 2 runs to deep square.
I think just by having a glimpse of him here, he's got a very nice technique, and he almost has like a good balance between aggressive and touch play, which I think is quite a fundamental trait to have as a batsman, or modern day batsman.
Mm-hmm.
Just another question to the both of you gentlemen here. How do these two know who's going to be the enforcer and the one that bats through? Do you think they have the conversation, I'm just steaming in here. Do they have the conversation mid-innings? Because I see they're both going quite well here, with du Plessis on 20 and Christensen on 23. What do you think the conversation is there right now in terms of who goes, who stays, who bats through?
I think it's pretty much on the day, really. I wouldn't be surprised if one of the two, John, goes to Christensen on the other side and says, "Listen, I'm feeling good here. I'm on today. I'm going to give it a go," unless we see that. And unless again there's a specific role definition here from a coaching or from a team point of view to say, listen, this is the clear guidelines, and saying, look, John, we want you to manage the innings for us and take it deep. And but looking at that shot, Christensen is probably they might even say, look, we're both feeling good. We both want to take it on. So I think it's very much on the day. If I can, that's my take on it anyway, Sash.
Final ball of the 10th over. Short fine, third man up.
Ooh,
Always
lucky.
going to be pace off of this field set. And quite lucky there for it to be a wide. I tend to agree there, Mackie. I think it comes down to the day, but I also think it needs to support your strength as a batter, and you need to play towards that. If there is room for Riza Hendricks, like we saw in T20 cricket, and it looked like in his role, most of the teams he's playing in, that the batters kind of bats around him, and in that way he bats himself in and scores at the end, which I think is extremely valuable for a team to have that kind of blanket to have wickets in hand with 10 overs to go.
Pretty interesting, and I agree with you on that. I think it's a clear sort of discussion amongst the batters themselves on the day and how they want to set it up. But I do agree with you, guys. I think the important thing with a guy like Riza, for instance, and how they've utilised that role is that the important factor is if he's got the start, and even if he's going at 110 or 120, the important thing is that he then counters at the end and then he makes use of it, because that becomes effective. But if it's at 50, or let's say 30 runs or 30 balls, or going at 105 striker, then you're probably not doing that role as well as what you want to. But clearly shown in the PSL, for instance, how he's been really effective in that, and then it just allows your the likes of say for instance a Pollard or a whoever to come in, or David Miller at the end or something, to just play his natural game.
So you see Dane Pitt from the Willows end. This is again great show of Dane's experience, taking all the pace off as the batter gave himself room to him through the offside. Nice addition here to the Knights team for this T20 comp, Dane Pitt. Great bowling form again, taking the pace off. A streaky 1-2 short fine.
Just interesting, AJ, that, I mean, from an off-spin point of view, how often have you seen a right arm offie bowling over the wicket in this phase of the game?
You need to be extremely confident. As we all know, if you're bowling over the wickets, you are opening the offside angle, and with this big boundaries today, you as an off spinner you won't be minded to hit towards the leg side, but again, that just goes to the testimony of the experience of Dame Piet bowling over the wickets. He knows his game, he knows his pace, and yeah, not a lot of off spinners do actually have the confidence to bowl over the wickets in any white ball cricket these days. So that's great to see that they still look at that again, taking the pace off. You can feel the pressure building up for Matthew Christensen.
And interesting tactically there that I've noticed. I mean, he's taking the pace off now, and Christensen trying to hit the ball over extra cover, which is a big ask. It's got to be an exceptional shot to be able to, especially the guys taking the pace off the ball.
Last ball of the over of Dame Piet's over, down leg fast into the pads. That's uncalled for. It was a good over, and he finishes. That goes down to execution. 4 runs for John du Plessis. The Badgers 89 for 2 after 11.
Gentlemen, just to summarize, I think what we've actually said now is one of the key traits, it seems, for a batsman, a modern day batsman, is adaptability. I think with the pace now, if we take our example, with the pace now Piet is bowling, it's almost as if Christensen is trying to come down the track and force something, whereas in this moment, how am I going to adjust my game plan? Maybe the touch play might be a better option. Maybe I must look to play a bit squarer because he's bowling slower. And I think it comes back to this trait of being adaptable, in terms of on the day, how am I feeling, who's the one that's going to go. I think those are the type of conversations you probably need to have, and you have to have that skill, that ability in today's game to kind of work with what Arya said, with your strengths, but also be able to be flexible with that.
Bowling change from the Loch Logan end again. Ponguse from the Loch Logan end, he gets pulled into deep square for 1 run there.
Interesting that, I mean, we're now into the 12th over. We haven't seen any of the other spinners yet, which I was quite surprised. I thought they would have been into the attack. But no, I agree with you, Sash. I do think that assessment has to happen pretty quickly. Yeah, you've got to understand. I mean, I'm surprised that they haven't really tried to sweep or reverse sweep the ball, which is obviously quite effective when you haven't got a lot of pace on the ball.
And just as you mentioned it, Mac, I think on the other side of the coin, for the bowling side as well, to kind of assess and adapt quickly, to see that, look, the pace is quite good on this wicket, and the way Piet's bowling with his pace is quite, it's difficult for the batsman to score, and to realise maybe a spin option on the other end could be a better option.
You say from the Loch Logan end, it's a good hard length, 2 dots in a row here for John du Plessis. I agree, Mac. It's I think your pace off on a big field, it could be it's difficult to score boundaries overall, except if the bowler obviously is in his line and length.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, and just on this. I mean, if I look at, probably other batters won't allow a guy like Dame Piet to bowl a really slow pace wide outside off stump and not have a go at a reverse sweep or something like that. It will take 1 or 2 balls and someone's going to bring out the broom probably. But be it as it may, it's effective at the moment and it's working nicely. Interesting on this over in this session, this specific over now, he's bowling hard back of the length. And as I say it, it's exactly what I was trying to point out. With a short third man and the backward point up, the 4 guys out deep on the leg side, they're fine leg, deep square, cow corner, long on, and you've basically got your sweeper out on the offside, it's just way in front of square as well. So
margin for error is quite
very small.
Yeah, he's going to need to bowl quite straight here. The batter is looking to give himself room to open offside, and obviously Pungasi, he did earn his line there. With the field set, it's quite obvious that he's going to bowl a hard length into the slight westerly breeze here, as he steams in from the Loch Logan end. bouncer well pulled
Shot.
in front of score. That's a
Huge.
great shot.
Straight out the middle there. Yeah, interesting tactic. I mean, with the field that they've had, I would have thought, okay, you're probably expecting, yes, 1 or 2 short ones, but also a lot of change of pace, maybe into the wicket. But here it is. I mean, yeah, the Badgers are now set perfectly at what, just at 100 pretty much. One short of 100 with 12 overs gone. And as we mentioned earlier on, I mean, from a batting point of view now, you're going, well, if everything goes according to plan, we're looking at least 180. Yeah.
I think the Badgers is well set here with their captain John du Plessis on 28 not out. Matthew Christensen 35 not out. As it looks like Dane Piet's going to bowl his 4 overs on the trot. He bowled 3 overs, 1 for 20 so far, as he bowls from the Willows end to John du Plessis, who's on strike. I agree. Sorry. Mackie, I agree. The Badgers is well set here. They've got wickets in hand, 8 overs to go as John du Plessis plays it into square leg, pushing for 2, mix up in the field, and they take 2 runs.
Yeah,
Well,
2
I wanted
fielders
to-
almost taking each other out there.
Yeah. It's almost as if the Badgers don't really need to take a risk from probably the Knights' best bowler right now, his last over remaining, because they are in a really good position with 8 wickets in hand and 8 overs.
That's a great point.
And I wonder if they're not probably maybe tactically going, well, let's maybe take what we can, get off this over, playing decent cricket shots, and then, you know, try and target the next guy. But you say the mindset of the modern day cricket now is not to go conservative. Actually, Henry Davids was mentioning it on Supersport yesterday. They actually, Bommy and Bongo had a laugh at him and said, "Gee, you've changed since you've stopped." It's because it would, the general theory in this point now would to be, oh well, let's just, you know, play it through and then see how we go. With this current position you're in at the moment now, as you said, these guys have got to put the pedal down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if the tactic wouldn't be just to hit the ball into the leg side field. We spoke about the big boundaries earlier, and it's difficult to cover the 2 runs. The throw is also into the wind. So I wonder if there's not a time and a space, Becky, for that in the game, as it looks like we picked up a injury here.
John du Plessis looks like he's done a calf or something here. Doesn't look comfortable at all. There's something he's done.
This might be a big knock here for the Badgers, as they had nice momentum on their side. He's an in batter. He's in good form.
Yeah. But also looking, you know, as we're talking about how they want to set this up here, if you look at their batting lineup, and I mean, watching, is it from Bruce, had a great game against the Northern Cape Heat the other day, and he had, I mean, the 50 off about 36 at the end. I know that they've got him waiting in the wings, but then you've got Carver and Richards at probably 7, 8. I haven't seen a lot of them in the past. Maybe you guys would have, but what they've got then at the last few overs. So maybe they ideally want to just make sure that these guys are taking it as deep as possible. But this is a bit concerning when you've got a guy like this calling for help on which looks like a calf.
Yeah,
Not good signs.
Contradicts my point. Stop running between the wickets. Just keep on hitting boundaries.
You speak to Chris Gale, he'll tell you his theory on that.
Back in the days, I remember when they used to have a runner.
Yeah.
100%.
Now, unfortunately, that's not in the game anymore. So,
Yeah.
I think it's a welcome break and play for the Knights, just to get their bearings in order again. Maybe it's all. I think, Mackie, you have the world's experience. When things are going, it's not quite out of hand for the Knights here, but if things are going for the batting team in their innings, it is a good ploy just to stop the game and just maybe have a couple of conversations and just bring them back to the game.
It is a tricky one, especially with the T20 cricket, where you are under a bit of time pressure to get your overs out of the way. But as you say, just to slow the momentum down, slow down the pace of the game, and take a few seconds if you can afford it between balls, and because what do these guys want? The batters just want bat and ball, and they want to just keep playing. And all of a sudden now you've got a guy that's, it's just slowed down, and I mean, as you know, the momentum swing, I know it's a loosely thrown around word, but it changes so quickly in T20 cricket. So, you know, they might have been in control for a 6 or 7 over phase, and all of a sudden you maybe have 1 or 2 dot balls now where he might be struggling to run, and he might have to change his game. And then all of a sudden, okay, well, maybe the momentum swings again back onto the Knights' favour.
Yeah, so many theories, so many tactics. That's why we love the game. We saw it last night on the SuperSport coverage between the Dragons and the Titans. How quickly the game swung there into the Titans' favour towards the end. It looked like the Dragons is gonna, it looked like they're gonna canter home.
Yeah.
And with the loss of the wicket of Van Tonder, the match totally swung into its head.
And he was going really well at one stage, and all of a sudden you had about a 10 ball phase there where they just couldn't continue that run of form, or not say run of form, but just the momentum and amount of runs, and all of a sudden there's that the pressure is transferred back onto the batting team chart.
Just as we discussed it, last ball of Dane Pete's spell, John du Plessis, great shot for 6 over Cow Corner, and the Badgers in a very commanding position here. 7 overs to go. They're on Nelson, 111 for 2. It'll be interesting to see how the Knights go towards the end of this innings.
Safe to say, du Plessis agrees with Henry David's there.
100%. But a great shot to finish.
Yes. I'm just going to go for you.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Look, I mean, from a Titans mindset, you know that there's no second guessing and wondering about it. But no, clearly doesn't look like it's a calf. It might have just twisted the ankle on the turn or something. But I've just really been impressed with how he's paced the innings up to now. It's been really good. On the night side of things, I would have thought, just from a seamer's point of view, a bit of change of pace, I think, would have been. Would like to see a little bit more of that.
Yeah, I think it's fairly obvious what they're going to bowl off this field, and that's into the wicket. It's pretty easy to set yourself up as a batter now for the ball that might come down the wicket. As it is into a wicket, good length delivery. Goes to third man. Jacques Snyman doing good work there on the boundary. As Matthew Christensen takes 2 runs.
Gentlemen, just something to touch up on what we just mentioned earlier in terms of having these little breaks. You know, the point of probably stopping the game with one team having quite a lot of momentum, and Mackie, as you mentioned, the batsmen just want to feel that ball and bat.
Shot.
That's a
Beautiful shot.
Just a touch too full there by Forrester, but great position by Christensen and great execution as well. But
Sorry, Matthew, with what I was just saying now, it's in terms of the Knights from this point of view, trying to slow the game down. I know as 2 great coaches of 2 good schools, what would your conversation be with your players, playing against 2 batsmen that are in form and scoring runs? What would your advice be to the youngsters in terms of how to slow the game things down? Because in essence, what you're trying to do is, if you want to slow the game down, you want to disrupt the concentration of the batsman, trying to get that gap so we can get him out to make a false shot. What would your discussion be with your boys if you see 2 batsmen really going at it? What would you as a bowling unit want to do?
I would maybe just focus on the small battles first. Try and
Forrest a slow ball outside off.
Big momentum changer here.
Could probably say unlucky there, but it was wide outside off, over point, short third man, and another boundary for John du Plessis. They're just going nicely here.
Again, it's just that width. Yes, you got to the short third man up and so on, and this change of pace you could clearly see, but then you don't want to really be leaving the stumps in terms of line. But no, to your point, Sash, I think it would be to try and win the small battles, in the sense of, listen, let's try and win 2 dot balls in this over, or 3 dot balls in this over, or something. And gradually then it stacks up.
Forrest just holding the ball. But
He's
really
done,
back
he's
then,
done
it's
well to hold on
actually
to
a
that.
terrific skill there.
Yeah.
John du Plessis fairly obviously trying to go for the paddle of short fine arm.
Should have run the non-striker out there.
Yeah. And then maybe also just from a tactical point of view, I mean, it's not that you want to be playing Russian roulette or anything like that, but maybe just to start double bluffing the batters in terms of the fields that you're setting. Because the good batters eventually start reading your field and reading your tactic and going, well, okay, I'm going to bring Murov up and I'm just going to bowl a hard back of a length and all that type of stuff. So there are various ways to go. I don't know what your take on it, AJ is.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point, Becky. I think for me personally, working with young players, they can get quickly be caught up in the hype of boundaries and sixes when you play against, especially it feels like these days, batters from Pretoria, and the ball's flying all over the place. I think what's important is just to have a cue, maybe to bring the bowlers back to the present, to knuckle down what's required here, what's my field, and what's actually needed for my skill here. Instead of, I just went for 2 massive sixes and I am under the pump, thinking about that is, it's ineffective. What you need to be thinking of is what's in your control and what's required at this very moment from me as a bowler or even as a fielder. Is it required for me just to save the boundary, or is it required to save the 2 runs? So I think to bring yourself back to the present is quite vital, and it's an important cue to learn a young player.
Yeah.
As a young player can get caught up quite quickly in kind of all the things that's going on. As we see a bowling change here from the Willows end, Aubrey's trying to pull into the attack, and attempted reverse sweep for Matthew Christensen.
Yeah, and I mean, a guy like Alan Donald always spoke about, if you've won 4 and 6 in 2 balls or whatever the case is, that you try and get that battle of strike where you're going to give him that one option that you can just get him on the other end. And it's a tricky one when you've got the likes of, you name it, MS Dhoni or whoever standing on the opposite side, and you've travelled to all parts, and you're trying to get him on the other side for 1, and then you still go for 6. But that's the thinking anyway. That's the plan.
We see the badges now going into the 15th over. Du Plessis on strike, he hits it into the leg side for 1 run. Badges well poised here. 2 in batters, Matthew Christensen on strike, 46 not out. John du Plessis on 44. Aubrey's one at pull bowling from the Willows end. That goes his down leg, bad delivery, down leg, pulled over short fine.
Yeah, that's an absolute gift. It's on a tray with a bit of, I don't know,
Whatever you call
tomato
it.
sauce, whatever you want to call it. It's not Aubrey's best he's had, but we all have those balls. But slightly different.
Brings up the half century for Matthew Christensen. Played for Matthew Christensen. He was quite struggled up front, the 38 ball 50, and he's set now to take it deep for the Badgers.
Yeah, as we mentioned, that similar role, then nice and steady up front, but hoping he can now capitalise in the back end of this innings. Just something tactically, slightly different pace and trajectory that Aubrey bowls in comparison to Dane Petty, slightly flatter and faster through the air, tries to get one to almost go the other way.
Mystery spinner, they call him. Don't know what he bowls.
Yeah, I think also maybe last point, Sash, on your earlier question of momentum and stoppage and play. I think in white ball cricket you can't underestimate the value of a dot ball. The dot ball, even when a batter is going well, the dot ball, even if he just scored 2 boundaries, it brings him back to I just faced a dot, and we all kind of know the stats around dot balls in white ball cricket, but I think if you can make it that simple for a young player. And just win the battle, like Mackie said, small battles between yourself and the batter. Focus on competing instead of all these theories you might have of this batted, his strength is this or that, or I think make it quite simple, compete, we'll be fine.
I think something that I just observed now, the Knights seem like they're pretty content in bowling spin from one end as
Yes.
opposed to the Loch Logan end.
Yes, it is the shorter boundary.
Mm.
But yeah, I think it's still, although it's short, it's still quite big, and it is into a gentle breeze. As Tiaan van Vuuren bowls from the low
Shot.
Logan end, that's a great shot.
I was just about to say that they're keeping that mid off up for as long as possible, and with two batters in at the moment, it's a pretty risky ploy.
Yeah.
And I mean, as it is at the moment, you're going at nines in the over. What is the batters going to do? They're going to try and take on those first two balls in the over to set the over up,
Yeah.
which is what they've managed to do.
I think, gentlemen, also something about Christensen's innings. It's kind of like the epitome of not really going hard up front. We saw the type of innings he played, quite conservative up front,
Van Vuuren into the pads.
and now he's kind of got some momentum and he's played quite a good knock here in terms of batting through.
Interesting tactic now with Van Vuuren coming around the wicket and trying to probably bowl into the wicket and some cutters as well. Change of field now. Pitt going to short third man and Jacques Snyman at fine leg.
Yeah, again, all four guys out on the leg side boundary. Looks like mid-off is coming up again. Can't imagine that he can bowl this straighter than wider, than off stump with mid-off
No.
up.
And short third man up.
Must be into the body as he does, and John proceeds out to deep square for one.
I was about to say, what's the plan here, outside off?
Probably not. We would hope not.
Be surprised.
Mackie, you've played here a lot, and I had a look at the wicket beforehand, and there's cracks towards the Loch Logan end.
Yeah.
How would you utilise though? Because we saw actually a couple of balls staying low from the spinners. Would you utilise it with your spin or with your seam?
Obviously, it depends on the length of where those cracks are, I guess. I always felt, AJ, that if they really are like cracks like the whacker or something like that you're really going to try and bring them into play. But generally, how much effect it really has on the game, not sure. But from a seamer's point of view, I think it's if you do happen to have them in a wicket, that it's all about how you create that angle from a bowling point of view, from a seamer specifically. If you maybe want to come in from slightly wider from the crease to bring stumps into play or the LBW into play, that would be my mindset.
For Vuuren around the wickets, he bowls a slow ball bouncer, and that's the end of Matthew Christensen's innings, caught by Garnet Tar, the keeper. As we saw, well executed there from Vuuren towards his field, and that's the end of a good knock from Matthew Christensen.
Yeah, very good knock from Christensen. I thought he paced it really well, and he set up the team with a perfect platform over here. So he's done exactly what the team has asked from him, and it now gives the big hitters the opportunity at the back end. Equally on the opposite side, a well executed bouncer there by Van Vuuren with a fine leg down and everything straight into the batter's left shoulder, which I thought was a really good effort. Making good use of the field and the diameters of the field. So Knights are going to have to fight hard here to try and squeeze some dot balls in, maybe with a new batter.
Yeah, it was well executed there from Tiaan van Vuuren, bowling towards his plan. And I think like Mackie said, they're going to need to battle harder to keep the badges down to as low as possible in chasing a score down here to get their first victory in this CSA T20 challenge. If new viewers are joining us, welcome to Mangaung Oval. It's the ITEC Knights versus the Garden Route Badgers in the CSA T20 challenge. So we see Kelly Smuts, Heath Richards coming to the crease.
I haven't seen much of Richards in the past. Have you guys seen him perform of late? Seems a bit of a strong boy. He hit one or two good shots in Kimberley against the Northern Cape Heat.
I think Sachinta, you probably played a couple of times before against him in university cricket, or not really?
Actually, I'm not sure. I think I might have.
But he's strong.
He's quite a strong,
Strong
big
boy.
fella,
He's a big
yeah.
lad.
Yeah.
I think when Christensen walked past him, I was wondering if a schoolboy walked past him there.
Of Viren finishing the 16th over there. The Golden Root Badgers 139 for free. Of Viren, actually, to be honest, also third man up there, sweeper way in front of square, outside off. Finish that over with a dot. That ball might as well, started Heath Richards' innings there with a boundary, but was a miss, fortunately and luckily for the Knights. Aubrey's going to continue from the Willows end.
Interesting to see how Du Plessis is gonna play these next 24 balls. Oh,
Aubrey, Swanepoel, moving straight there, dot run. As we welcome John Harmer back into commentary. John, what's your take on this position of the Golden Root Badgers?
Yeah, I think it's a brilliant position. As a from schoolboy, you're always looking to how you can build an innings, and I think they've set a classic example here. Looking back at that first power play, the pump was on them the first 4 hours, the pressure was there, and as we said, Christensen and Carlson, they just built that partnership, and they've got themselves in this very ideal position where they can look to excel. I mean, they can look at 180, they can really try to push this from the initiative from here, so they've done brilliantly today.
Aubrey's trying to pull bowling with a vacant mid-wicket, nice full and straight as Richard sits back to him, no run.
yeah, Richards. You want to try and make sure that from the ball one you've got good energy and an intent at the crease. Don't really want to be eating too many dot balls when you've got the likes of Du Plessis who's set on the other end. But as we know with some of the big hitters, it might every now and then just take a couple of balls to get used to the pitch and get used to the wicket, and they can sometimes be 5 or 10 and then all of a sudden go big in the last few balls. So, but as you say, it's ideal platform for them now. It's so we spoke about probably 170, 180 being par here. I reckon they're well on course for that.
Good over so far here from Aubrey Swanepoel. He finishes it out with another dot. That's a vital over for the Knights. As that over only conceded 2 runs, 3 overs to go here for the Badgers.
Yeah, I want to go back to that 5th over where we discussed Van Vuren coming for his 3rd, where we felt the momentum was shifting, and having Mackie here alongside us, the pressure was on. We felt the pressure was on SVD at that point, and do you think it was just technical, like a game plan error at that moment, or what do you think was the thinking behind it?
Yeah, I think that they, from a tactical point of view, were wondering whether to give in that 3rd over. When you've got a team going so well in the power play, the general feeling is to go, well, maybe let's just swap it out and give one bowler an over in the power play. So 1-1-1 until you get out the power play, because it's and it wasn't like Van Vuren was going 2 overs for 9 or 2 overs for 10. He was getting a bit of tap. So I would have thought that 3rd over probably was one too many, especially because you'd had Mbongosi who was going well, to maybe have swapped it out, even with Langa as well.
Langa from the Loch Logan end. 4 fielders on an offside boundary. It's pretty obvious where he's going to try and bowl here. It's outside off. Probably not a bad ploy in the depth. Mackie, you as a former senior yourself, how difficult is it to execute this skill?
Yeah, it's look, if you can execute it, there's nothing is better than the New Yorker. If you've got to be very confident and be able to execute it, at least 4 out of the 6, I would say. But with the way the guys hit the ball nowadays, it's a great hand there by Konatar there just to stop, because that was well on the way for 4. The guys that can really execute it at death, it's worth gold. But if you can't, it's about having your strategy pretty well set out for the 6 balls, and to go with that, I always say the execution. So your field, the ball that you bowl's got to complement the field that you have. That's pretty much the basic of it. So it's just getting the margins and the percentages in your favour, I think.
Yeah, as we see short, fine, deep square up, batter standing on off stump, might look for the paddle here as Langa goes.
And the wicket falls.
Wicket falls there, that's the end of John du Plessis. That's also not a bad delivery in the def. Mackie is a low full toss, but he was quite lucky there with middle up, missed time from John du Plessis, and it brings her into his innings, 48 runs off 33 balls. And yeah, you would feel like he missed out on a good knock here and taking the badges to a good final score.
Yeah, when you speak about, on your point about a low full toss being a very underrated ball and often gets a lot of wickets, but du Plessis played a great knock there. It was really good. You would have felt he missed out there on that one. I mean, full toss when you set to just even half decent bat and get it over the guy's head. So again, a bit of that key little momentum swing in the innings. Kelly Smuts joins Richards, who Kelly, as we've known throughout the years, can strike the ball pretty cleanly. But they obviously, just to add to it, coming the death phases, there's a lot of computer analysis and everything, video analysis being done on all these players. So there's clear set plans to all these batters nowadays. As we see, immediately Smuts comes in and Lung goes straight away around the wicket.
Yeah, I think the Knights pulled it back quite nicely. He has the last 8 deliveries, only went for 5 runs. So that's quite crucial this time of the innings. You're looking as a batting team for at least 8 deliveries to go for 20 plus, and for only to go for 5 runs. Momentum slightly back in favour of the Knights here as Langa around the wickets for Kelly Smuts' first ball. Leg side field out.
Oi.
Just back to John, I think he'll be very disappointed in himself. The pressure had been building, you could sense it, and the release shot was on there. We said it's an underrated delivery, the low full toss. Being the man in, wanting to have carried the team all the way, getting them to that 180 score. Going out at this point, it is a momentum shift. So we've got 2 new batsmen at the middle, with a big responsibility to finish off this strong innings for SVD.
Langa from the Rock Logan end.
Yeah, it's quite clear they want to stay out of the arc here from Richards. Seems like a very strong bottom-handed player, so they want to bring anything into his zone. Yeah, John, it's the thing with du Plessis. You've got to back him there 9 times out of 10 to put a low full toss away there, especially when the guy's set. But it's the nature of the game nowadays. You're gonna miss some of them.
Field totally changes here.
Yeah,
again, square up again, short fine, offside field out, 4 guards on an offside boundary. Yeah, it's pretty obvious what it's going to look to bowl here. Around the wickets, well executed by Langa as Kelly Smuts hits it to deep point for 1.
So here's my question to you: were you taking guard on that ball?
Yeah, that's a great point. And I had a couple of conversations with the likes of Elias de Plooy, what he does in that situation, and Elias is quite comfortable to show all his stumps. Even on the leg side, he stands off with his heels on the likes of outside, even off, and then you leave the kind of the decision with the bowler, isn't it?
You give him the showing the stumps. You look at how many no balls we saw in the SA20 that were missing the strip.
Yeah.
100%. And with a clear, exactly the same field that these guys have just had there, 4 out on the offside, and they're still going for that wide hole type of Yorker, and at the end of the day, at least now, I say at least because for a long time umpires weren't protecting the bowlers when they were going that wide.
Yeah.
Because if the guy takes his guard that wide outside off stump,
yes,
and it goes over the wide line, they're still giving it wide.
Exactly.
So I'm like, hang on guys, we're not bowling machines yet.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's why it's interesting tactic nowadays. I mean, you'd be showing those guys the stumps and say, come bowl them if you want to.
Mpunguse over the wickets with a wide field. Quite
Shot.
interesting. That's a good shot over extra.
Almost
Well
safe.
fielded by De Gale on deep cover boundary as Kelly Smuts takes two there. Just on this point again, this is a field set for outside off bowling in the depth, but over the wickets. Doesn't that make it easier for the batter? You as a left-hand batter yourself, Mackie, doesn't that angle just make it a bit easier to hit the ball over short, fine and square leg maybe?
Yeah, I think if you just watch him try and execute it, and again they got these two sweepers, one sort of in front and behind square, and as we always mention, the easy twos here quite deep in the ground. Now, if it's a guy that fancies the pedal and fancies the sort of a lap over short fine leg, you're obviously always looking for that angle, and if it does give you that angle, I think that if he's going really across the batter and wide, that it's a difficult angle to get that pedal out.
Third ball over as he goes short, and that's straight to goal. Dion Forrester taking the catch, and the Knights pulling it back nicely as that's the end of Kelly Smuts' innings. I must say, quite really pleased with the Knights' execution of their def skills.
Well, it's a thing that we spoke about on earlier. Using the diameters of the field to your advantage from a bowling point of view. Okay, now we all agree that the badges are set. They had a great platform, but now why were they good? Is because Christensen and Du Plessis didn't try and slog the ball. They were hitting the pockets. They hit good shots for four, and they capitalized. Now the big hitters are coming in thinking, okay, well, we're going to have to put the foot down now, but now they're trying to take the big boundaries on. And which thanks, and it makes it very difficult to then clear these boundaries.
That's a good point. It's really nice hearing Ryan McLaren's voice here. Welcome to all viewers just tuning in. We've got the Garden Route badges on 151 for 5. 9 balls to go in this innings. It looked like at a stage that the badges is flying to 180, but the Knights pulled it back nicely as the Knights looking to close off this innings, restricting to the badges to as low as possible.
Yeah, we were speaking about the evolution of the game. You know, the Knights starting the game with what is now an almost conventional fielding position of a deep point. Oh, beautiful shot, flat bat over the bowler's head, over mid-off. You know, we're speaking about on these conventional fields and how the game's changing, where you've got a deep point and you start with a deep square, where you're conventional third man, find over. And with what we've seen the last couple of overs, I mean, packing out the offside and being so clear in your intent as to how you're trying to restrict. And we're talking about, you know, the wide lines and how they're challenging. Oh, and the drop catch at mid-on.
Mid-on from Patrick Botha. Again, John Harmer, just adding to your point, field completely changed here again towards the big boundary. 3 leg side plays on the boundary in a fine leg, deep square, cow corner. It doesn't look like it's going to bowl full here with mid on the middle of up. Goes short again. Deep cow corner running around, and Patrick Botha holds it in for 2 runs from Brissie's.
Yeah, what we've seen this whole over is the batsman trying to go over going straight, trying to force the issue, you know, playing where the gap is, and costly drop there. We'll see how costly that in fact is for the innings, but you know, clear intent as to what the plan is, and with how the games are being played nowadays, I mean, I feel the batsmen have no limitations at this point. You know, there's no safety in setting a field, and you know the guy's not going to be hitting there. With how we've seen batting is involved, where they're moving across them stumps. I mean, as a bowler, I think you have such a headache in this format, especially.
Well, we into the last over here. The badges are set 155 for 5. Jidol from Brissie's is at the crease with Heath Richards, and it looks like Sikumbele Langa is going to bowl the last over from the Loch Logan's end. Offside field out again. Richards on strike.
Oh.
Well executed, but unlucky for Langa and the Knights as Heath Richards takes 4 runs with the inside edge past the stumps.
Yeah, very interesting fields that, again, you sit and look at how the guys have planned it, but it's you know, you see a mid-on up in the ring and you see a very straight cover, for instance. You're short, you know, you're 45 and then square leg up in the ring. So, again, plus with clear plans and homework being done, I mean, your conventional 4 guys out in the ring of your 45 and your short third man and your cover and your mid wicket is long gone.
That's a long gone, Mackie.
Long gone.
As Langa bowls the second ball of the last over of the innings.
Oh
wide,
no, not again, surely.
That is very unlucky. Terrifically executed. Outside edge for 4 runs. Just goes down to the speed of the outfield. Even though this is one of the biggest playing fields, I think it is a playing area in the country. As the Badgers moves on to 163.
I must say, bad luck on Langa's side there. I mean, he's executed 2 very good Yorkers, one inside edge and one outside. There's not much you can do about that. You can't set fields for them.
And from SPD's perspective, I mean, runs are getting on the board.
Sure.
You don't care how they get there.
Exactly.
Third ball of the last over. Langa gets away with that one with Melon up in the ring.
Yeah, it's just something I'm picking up with a guy like Richards, who you can see a very strong guy, but someone just needs to keep that swing a little bit longer. It seems to be quite short. His short swing, if I say that. That was the one that was actually in the slot.
That was in the slot. And sometimes that happens if you as a batter just premeditate a bit because of the field set and the previous balls bowled, you miss out actually on the ball right in front of you. As mid on and mid off comes up, fine leg is dropped to. Oh, he bowls it to
Beautifully bowled.
And this is now to that point about guys being able to bowl Yorkers and the game plan and the set field. Well, here you've got a guy that looks pretty confident in being able to hit the Yorker. And I mean, if you think back to practice sessions, watching a guy like Lasse Malinga come in and put his tackies or his running shoes down. Forget about bowling the nets. He just bowled with those running shoes for half an hour. There's no surprise why the guy can execute it. And it's nice to see a guy being able to do it now.
Penultimate ball of the innings, Langa from the Loch Logan in, and another Yorker. He nails another one. The batter there, Richards, from Brissy's just able to scratch it out for 1 run.
Yeah, I mean, we've been speaking a lot about the evolution of the game and how it's exciting it's become. Earlier just touched on, the conversation between T20 cricket and Test cricket was what we've seen now, with English cricket and how they've taken Test cricket forward. But as you just mentioned, the traditional, your death bowling, your Yorker is still the best option. Yeah. And you mentioned we can all regard as the best Yorker bowler. Malinga is those things still work.
Yeah.
See the last ball of the innings here. Strange field set in a long out, cow out. Looks like he's going to go wide again. Great finish for the innings for the Knights. As the Golden Root Badgers finish on 166, I think it's fair to say that the momentum is now fairly set on the Knights side as they pull back this last 5 overs tremendously well.
Yeah, they were all set for it, weren't they? At about 16 overs, they were 140, and you would have thought that they were going to capitalise. And you talk about a bit of a momentum swing, and it's exactly what the Knights would have asked for going into their chase. So I reckon if you'd asked Pat Botha would he take that at the start of the game, he would have taken it hands down. But it's a good comeback by the Knights bowlers. It'll be interesting to see how they set that up tactically. I reckon they're going to come really hard in the power play, and to me the key facet is going to be how they play a guy like Carver in the middle, and how they able to play the spin in the middle phases. So nice little challenge we got here going into the second half.
Yeah, we set him poised for a great game here. I think there was a lot of dot balls towards the end, well bowled, good def execution by the Knights bowlers. And I think Mac, you said it quite right. I think the Knights are probably going to come hard in the power play, kind of to have a blanket for a guy like Carver in the middle overs.
Yeah.
But yeah, match well poised. And we'll return to you guys soon back live. Yeah, from Mangaung Oval, it's the Golden Root Badgers who finished their innings on 166 for 5 after 20 overs. Welcome back to all our viewers watching the CSA T20 Challenge Division 2 match between the ITEC Knights and the 6-gun Royal SWT Golden Root Badgers. The innings break has just concluded and the players are coming back onto the field. It's Golden Root Badgers who posted a formidable 166 in their allotted 20 overs. The general feel was that it's slightly under par. They were on their way to a good 180, maybe even pushing 200, but the Knights' death bowling was in a really good standard and they pulled it back nicely. And the opening batters, Jacques Snyman and Gian Kluter is now at the crease, ready to start the chase of 167. As the bowling will be opened from the Loch Logan end for the Golden Root Badgers. Standing umpires is at the northern side is A. Oliver and from the southern side in Cheesy.
Yeah, I think SVD, what do you think they'll be taking away from the batting innings? You know, not too much to offer for the batsmen or for the bowlers in this case. You know, how would their approach be in defending this score?
Yeah, I think as we see Kwesi Gumede is going to open the bowling for the Golden Root Badgers. I think the trick for the Golden Root Badgers is going to be getting through this power play. Me personally, I think with the Knights batting lineup, there's good depth, there's players on form and there's hard hitters. As we see the first ball being bowled from Kwesi Gumede, he hits a hard length and Jacques Snyman just hitting into the cover. So yeah, to answer your question, John, I think getting through this power play is tremendously important for the Golden Root Badgers. Not only restricting the Knights, but actually taking wickets. I see it very tough for the Golden Root Badgers to defend the score if the Knights get off to a good start here. It looked quite flat, looked like a good pitch. It looked like towards the Loch Logan side, it was slightly up and down with spin, but further on it looked good. Good opportunity for the batters to score runs here today.
Yeah, Snyman gets off the mark. Yeah, we saw now with the SVD innings how quickly the momentum shift with the falling of wickets, and the Knights will be backing their batting prowess here today, but wickets need to be in hand. We saw how quickly things can shift. Stating that, you know, getting through this power play, making a statement. What do you think would be an ideal score here in the power play for?
I think for the Knights, the sky's the limit, to be honest, with their batting depth. As we see former Protea Gian Kluter is going to face his first ball from Kwesi Gumede. I think the sky's the limit. Yeah, I think they're going to punch for as much as possible, to be honest, John. You know, we've seen in the first innings the new ball does fly as a good length from Kwesi.
Beautiful bowled.
Well into the pads. We've got a deep square out and a third man. I think John. I don't think the Knights will have a set total other than as much as possible. To be honest, I think if the Badgers can restrict them maybe to anything lower than 50, they will be happy, and obviously with a couple of wickets going as well.
So far, very, very good spell here.
Wide outside over the covers, good start from Gian Kluter. If you have watched any cricket of Gian Kluter, that's his bread and honey. He likes the short outside off, good cutter off the ball, and he opens his account with a boundary. The Knights, in their reply of 166, gets off to a good start. You see the field set here. It's a deep square. It's a third man. We've got one slip. Setting that second slip. Great shot by Gian Kluter again through the covers. Beautiful volley outside off. Great shot.
Beautiful shot there. Going back to the classics. Wanting to comment on that small gap that was there in extra covers region. Beautifully placed and getting 4 more runs. And as we saw now, beautifully over started. 2 boundaries later, 9 runs on the board.
Immediately being taken out from the Badgers. John Klute likes whiff. Gomedi comes in, bowls it slightly straight. As we can see, Klute likes whiff. He guides that from middle stump to third man for one. And the Knights gets off to a great start, 10 without loss after one over. We welcome back Sachinta Galhenege to the commentary box. Sash, how do you feel about this 167 and needs to be chased?
Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome back to our game here. I think, I feel like the Badgers might have felt that they were about 15-20 runs short, as opposed to, the start they had and the two in batters that create a great foundation for the team to build on. I think the Knights actually will be very happy with the way they pulled everything back.
Marcelo Piet opening the bowling from the Willows end. He's bowling to Gian Klute, just back to two balls for four. Yeah, I agree, Sachinta. I think they're 15 runs short. It looked like a good pitch. Fast conditions as Piet bowls a good length, hard length, top of middle stump.
A little bit of swing there.
Yeah, just a bit of shape back into the left hand, and that should be the ploy for Gian Klute. You're gonna need to try and cramp him for room. He likes whiff, he likes anything outside his eye line. That's his strong suit, and I think that's why we see a deep square and a fine leg in play here for Gian Klute. Again, shape back, big appeal. Always look like it's gonna miss leg stump.
Looked like a decent shot there, but I think with the movement that he was getting, was probably missing leg. I think Pete will be very encouraged with the swing that he's getting in this opening spell of his.
Full and straight. Klute hits it down the ground for a signal. Good start here from Pete. Looks like there's some shape for him, as he looks like to bring the ball back to the left and away from the right hander.
I'll be surprised if they don't have a slip for Snyman. I think something that's quite key here is probably for the Badgers to take a couple of early sticks. I'm kind of surprised that they don't have a slip, especially with the swing that Pete is getting. Just encourage Snyman to go for the drive.
Yeah, I agree. Sachinta, it's definitely what's going to hold tonight here is early wickets. They need early wickets with the depth of their batting lineup. Quite defensive field here with a long one out and a deep square out. All shaping away. We all know Jark Snyman's not going to hold up, hold back when it's up. Quite anticipated matchup here as it's full and straight, just wide of the wicket, and Snyman takes one.
Good fielding there. I think it's important here, that just like I mentioned, the SWD badges over here taking a couple of early sticks, just to create a little pressure there, the dugout, because wickets are good wickets and early wickets will be crucial.
Oh, that's a good shot. Gian Klute, he looked for a conventional paddle, and then Pete adjusted, and he adjusted with Pete again, and just paddled it over short third for another boundary for Klute. That's quite tough. Pete obviously wanted to use the swing and the length with short third and short fine up in the ring, and that just released a bit of pressure for the Knights as Pete had a good start here.
That is one hell of a shot. That
It's a great shot.
I think if Bob Woomer was here, I think he wouldn't have appreciated that shot.
Last ball of the second over, great shot down the ground as he takes a scampered single. 2 overs bowled, Knights 17th without loss in the pursuit of this chase of 167. Yeah, I think Sachinta as the game evolved, even for short third and short fine up, it's actually a percentage play, as you know. The bowler wants to hit a hard length, the bowler wants to hit top of the stumps, and with Pete's space, he's always going to bowl a fuller length. So the percentage play to actually play the paddle is not a bad option if the field is set that way. It doesn't really matter these days, does it, if it's against a new ball? I don't think that should be, actually, to be honest, if you play a white ball cricket these days, it's like the ball's always new. It's hard and new, and it's in 50 overs, the ball only gets 25 overs old. Flicked off his legs, that's a great shot by Gian Kluter. 4 more for the Knights, great start here by the Knights and Gian Kluter.
An excellent flick off his legs for Kluter, getting some valuable runs there. I think you made a very valuable point as well. I think with coaches and players these days, the conversation is probably about how am I going to get the ball there. Rather than playing conventional cricket shots, it's more how can I get the ball there and change the field the way I want to. I think in the modern day.
Badges under the pump here, Kwesi Mkumedi comes from the Loch Logan and he follows Gian Kluter right play, but the keeper unfortunately doesn't follow the ball. That's 5 wides.
That's 5 wides. Looks like he followed the ball to the boundary.
Yeah, we're seeing it today. It's a clear example. There's cat and mouse. There was a fielding change, deep square, and Cow put in position. And Kluter trying to open up the offside. Unfortunately, the keeper not following the ball there.
Shot. To Cow corner for 1. That's a good point there, John. With the change in field, Kluter's always going to give himself width. Keeper slightly unaware, to be honest. The play was always going to be to try and cramp him for room, especially kind of to hide Gian Kluter's strength, which is playing through the offside. As the same field is set, it looks like for Stayman with a Cow and deep square, they're going to try and cramp him here. Simon knocks it into the leg side for 1 run. Knights are going strong here, boys.
Brilliant. I think it's quite an interesting dynamic here that we're watching with Snyman and Kluter. You'd think Snyman was obviously the hard hitter, loves to field bat and ball, and Kluter more the touch player. But Gian has definitely got some momentum in his innings, and Snyman is happy to kind of be aware of how his partner's going and just give him strike.
Yeah, great point. Oh, that's a great shot by Kluter. He helps it over third man. As the ball's running away and was well saved. Good work there on the boundary to restrict it only to 2 runs. Maybe a bit of lazy running there, but 2 runs nonetheless. I think that's a great point, Sashinta. Just to add on that, having a conversation with the coach beforehand, JP Trichardt, and it's just a natural variation of a right-hand, left-hand combo throughout the batting innings of the Knights, which, without really realising it, it just brings a variation of bad balls into a batting innings.
Yeah, and what we've seen so far from the Knights is, taking on the first couple of balls, dominating the field. They're actually setting the field where they wanted at the moment, and what we just saw that previously, manipulating the deliveries. As we've seen, batsmen have evolved at such a level, you can't restrict them playing into one area anymore. So beautiful batting so far, very smart batting in getting exactly what they want at this moment.
Final ball of the 3rd over here in the power play. Important ball. Knights Ferry without loss. Kwesi Mkumedi into the pads, well bowled. And that's a dot. Knights Ferry without loss after 3 overs.
We've got a very interesting matchup here as Pitt comes back into the attack, having that just that bit of movement, looking beautiful couple deliveries, having only gone for 7. It's going to be very interesting now with this 4th over in how they take their approach, coming off the confidence of the previous over. So let's see how the Knights take this one on. Pitt really storming in, really looking good. So yeah, already that slip, the slip has been removed quite easily. Quickly getting the runs off, and the slip is already out of the play. very defensive. How do you feel about this very defensive feel already so early in the game? Or would you like a bit more attacking? Or do you think, we don't have that much runs on the board, let's just try and restrict it as far as we can? How do you feel?
Shot by Jacques Snyman. He stands tall, slaps it in front of square, over mid-wicket, $4. That's a great shot by Jacques Snyman.
That is the sound you want to hear on a day-to-day basis. Absolutely bludgeon that for 4.
That's a great point, John. I think that the Badgers maybe missed a trick by bowling Comedy the first over. It looked like Pick choked the ball, and the chances of getting a wicket was there in the first over. And maybe just, sometimes you don't always want to set an attacking field just because the ball is shapy. That's another great shot. Uses his feet, changes the length, extra all volley, hits the ball hard past middle for 4 more. Great start here by Jacques Snyman and the Knights, and they are racing.
I think Steyman has just told Kluter, listen here, bud, I think I'm going to take the role here and hit the ball. Because he's absolutely hit 2 great shots now.
Yeah, and John, further to your point, you don't always want to set an attacking field just because of conditions. Sometimes you just want to show the batting team, listen here, we are here to take your wickets. We're not going to lay back and for you to chuck your wicket. Because like we just see, or like we're currently seeing now, there's no pressure on the batters actually. They're just playing their game. As you pointed out, they're setting the field where they want the field is, and they're utilising the space in those first 6 overs where there can only be two fielders outside the ring.
And if we take back when we go to the Knights innings and the bowling, the pressure was there. The wicket was taken, the pressure was there in the first 4, and the SVD did really well to get themselves out of that situation, you would feel. Whereas there was, unfortunately, there wasn't feel like that foot on the throttle, going for the kill. And now with what's happened in this over, you can feel, the batsmen are getting set, and it looks like it's going to be a long day in the middle.
9 runs of this over already. Deep square fine leg out into Kluter's pads for 1. Maybe they're pushing for 2, but no 2 runs there to Kwesi Gumede, who's filling the fire.
So, my follow-up question is, if you're not getting that pressure you wanted from the start, how are you going to start generating that in the middle overs when the fielders are? How are you going to bring that back? And we just touched on with the Knights, with the SVD innings, but how are you going to put that pressure on? Because wickets need to fall.
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's always the catch-22. John, I feel in the power play of a T20 match, if you don't start well, I would think if you don't start well, my personal feel is to make a bowling change, to not keep on bowling the bowlers who has been bowling. And unfortunately, you're going to need to go with your field settings, you're going to need to go defensive because the other team is racing. So back to the bowlers need to bring himself to the present and ask himself, how am I going to squeeze a dot, how am I going to win the competition between myself and the bat. It's a strong shot again down the ground. Gian Kluter taking 15 off that over of Marcelo Pitt. The Knights in a very commanding position. 45 without loss after 4.
Just the batting ability here today. I don't know if you would say, but I didn't see much fault in those deliveries. I believe it wasn't that over pitch. It was difficult stuff, but the batsmen are in just such fine form. It would be interesting to see how SVD brings it back from here. But you've got that human element, getting ahead of yourself as a batsman. How do you keep yourself just within the game and say, we're going strong, let's just keep it tidy from here. How do you make sure that you just don't run away with it as well? Or do you still put the foot to the middle?
I think just what Aya mentioned about staying in the present. It's always coming back to that point of trying to stay in the present and go with your feel, go with what you're going with. If you start looking too ahead of yourself in an innings and things like that, you might get caught up in those thought patterns. So it's really important to just stay in the present, enjoy what you're doing, because remember, we're playing this game for a reason. I think they are flying with the start, and I think they did miss this trick here, especially up front.
bowling change here from the Lord Logan end. There's Jared Jardine, left arm receiver over the wickets. Jock Simon missing out there on the short ball. I think John, exactly. You need to bring yourself to the present, win the battle between yourself and the bat, squeeze a couple of dots. That's what you need to get your mindset into. If I was the Knights, I'll go foot to the pedal here. They've got massive batting depth. Break the neck of the chase and canter home as Jardine bowls a second ball off the fifth over. Good start here, 2 dots to start with.
Yeah. No, as a bowler myself, it's these small battles you have to just stay within that. You know, 2 dot balls, just keeping that pressure. You've been just introduced to your attack and seeing what you can do from there. But yeah, it's been a very dominant performance so far from this Knights batting opening partnership.
More conventional field of a third man in the deep square as Jardine left arm receiver to Snyman. He pulls in front of square and for 1 run.
This is Snyman's format, isn't it? He loves it. He loves to play this way, in this nature of, just kind of giving him that freedom to play his game. I think he adapts quite well to the game, to the format, especially in the way he plays his game.
I feel that's where JP Trichel, the coach, has been magnificent this year, allowing players to play towards their strengths. The likes of Garnet Tower had a good season so far, as well as Jock Snyman. And I agree, Sash. Jock Snyman doesn't like to play a lot of defensive shots. As Jardine with a deep point out now, goes to Pluto, wide outside off, and he mistimes it for 1. It's a pretty good over so far here.
I think, John, just to kind of also emphasize on Aya's point in terms of just changing the bowlers in the power play, I think this is a perfect example. New bowler comes in, 2 runs in this, 2 or 3 runs in this over now, just to create something different, especially if you feel like 166 is below par, you want to attack, you want to get some wickets up front to create that pressure. By just maybe rotating the bowlers, having a bit of an attacking field, I think WD missed a trick here.
Oh, good bouncer.
Beautiful.
Bouncer. Good over, yeah. Only 2 runs from the over here. We're in the 5th over of the power play. Jardine brings it a bit back here for the Gold Badgers. Exactly what Sash just said. Bowling change of angle, change of balance, change of pace. And the batters need to adapt to something different. Sometimes it's as simple as a bowling change.
It's working beautifully here today.
2 guys out on the leg side. It's probably going to be into the body, into the pads, and Snowman. This is out 10, it takes 1.
Yeah, finishing off the over strong there, only conceding the 3 runs. Another element I just want to introduce into this conversation here today. These players are, all very talented, and as every player, you always want to reach the top level. Reaching the highest level in the form of the Proteas. Like, what would you need to do at this level, to have that stand up, because it's so competitive. So in the case of this game, do you take it into your own stride and say, listen, I need to have a stand up performance here, or do you always keep playing the team game? It's just something, every player wants to reach that level at some point.
That's a good question, John. I'm sure I will also answer now. I think, the most important thing is, if you want to make it to the top level, I think you shouldn't get ahead of yourself, because remember, you're playing a game that's kind of dependent on the ball you play on the next ball, so it's almost focusing on the ball at play. I know it's easy to get caught up with playing for the Proteas and stuff.
Leg spinner Carl Jacobs into the attack from the Willows End.
I think it's quite important for them to just play it game by game, ball by ball, and not really get caught up with that. I think over the years we've seen quite a lot of players almost making it to the verge of it, and the Protea setup, and then just not having that next step to get into the team. So it's almost like, you know,
Guys, big over this. We've got 5 balls to go in the power play. Leg spinner bowling the last over here with the power play. 49 without loss. Interesting 5 balls in front of us here.
Yeah, and why I'm mentioning it is I quickly think of an example more from myself. A player like Heinrich Klaassen. You know, who
That
had
was an off spinner. Off spinner to Klute.
great shot.
It's a great shot over middle, who's inside the ring, and that's another boundary. I think the Knights are going to target these last 4 balls off the power play to get as many runs as possible.
beautiful shot there. Knights reaching the 50 mark.
Like
Going
an off
strong.
spinner there.
Yeah.
Like an off spinner when the left hander was a
Yeah.
strike. Carl Jacobs just sliding in some off spin there, and to the right hand it was leg spin. But interesting, yeah. 4 balls to go. As he steps away.
Still seems like he's having that off spin
Mm.
action here. Very, very interesting.
Liam Livingston. Good on strike.
Oh, and it works. And he bowls him, cleans him up. And Gian Klute is dismissed. So the change in bowling has worked. The off spinner has worked in this regard. And Gian Klute goes for a well played 32 of 19 deliveries.
Yeah, good impact there by Gian, but I think knowing him, he'll know he missed out there. Short his ball, wanted to try and hit it through the offside, it skidded on, beaten him on the inside, and he was set for a big knock. Unfortunate to lose his wicket as the Badgers are back into the game at 53 for 1.
New batsman in. Dean Forrester.
Yeah, again, just left-hander out, left-hander comes in to keep that left-hand, right-hand combination at the crease. Dean Forrester, very good white ball player, very good season for the Knights. Scored a heap load of runs so far, and yeah, it's interesting how he's now going to approach this, because there's 3 balls left here in the power play, and 2 fielders into the ring, wicket just fallen. It's quite interesting what he's going to do here.
And if I could recall correctly, I believe it was very similar to where SV Deer was. It's this point 52 for 1 after 6. So we're very poised for a very good match at this moment.
The question is, gentlemen, is he bowling left arm or right arm off spin or leg spin?
He'll probably bowl off spinner here to the left-hand batter again, as he does his
Oh, good shot there. Oh, umpire says going down leg.
fired it into the pads. Well bowled, well bowled. Goes for 1 leg by.
Feeling that momentum shifting, how critical a bowling change is, and this one has been so fruitful so far. Let's see if we can finish off this power play for SVD and
See
style.
what he's going to bowl now with a cow corner and a long one out. Looks like the leg spinner. It is. It's outside off to Snyman as he takes one with the offside. So fielders on the ring. Last ball of the power play coming up to Forrester. He's obviously going to bowl the off spinner again. Big ball here, gentlemen. I think Forrester might take the conservative option of just taking a 1 and seeing his over through as he does. That's power play completed, and the Knights in a very strong position at 56 for 1 after 6, chasing 167, and yeah, very strong position with Jock Simon at the crease, 15 not out from 15 deliveries, and Forrester 2 of 2 deliveries. I think that's a good buffer for the Knights, good power play. Yeah, it's set up well for a good chase now here in the middle overs.
Excellent start from the Knights. I think 56 for 1 after 6. I think they would have taken that. Going to set themselves up for a good chase here. I think this middle period is probably what's going to dictate this game.
I'm quite liking this bowling change from SVD. This last 2 overs really brought it back nicely. It's going to be interesting now with the power play over. The fielders on the ring, or outside the ring. let's see how they take it from here.
Being short from the Loch Logan end, Lakeside field out as Forrester takes one to the big boundary. Same field for Jog Snyman as we have the Lakeside field is out. Looks like third man's going to come into the ring. Pretty obvious what they're going to try and do here. Try and cramp Jog to play into the leg side. Offside field is up except for sweeper. It's a bad, someone takes one to the vacant wicket area.
The SVD are opting for the sweeper rather than the deep point as a tactical battle here between the two teams. Kind of similar feels to what the Knights also had. I think the two teams have realised, obviously with the size of the boundary and cramping these batsmen for room.
Yeah, would you agree over mid-off looks like a good option if it's there?
Yeah, I think, John, it's very obvious with this field that they're going to hit the deck hard as 2 runs been taken there with the bowler not getting back to the stumps. By 6, very lazy. That was a sure run out and there was nobody at the stumps.
Let's see there putting his hand up to apologise. I think it's too late to apologise.
Immediately realised what he was up to. Yeah, John, I don't think he's going to pitch anything up here according to the field. Middle up, I would be very surprised if anything is pitched up. Try and hit the deck here, maybe pace off. As he bowls a bouncer, pace off, and Forrest pulls it straight to cow corner. That's the play.
And the plan working there as Forrester falls, hitting the deck, bowling to your field. It's as simple as that sometimes, isn't it, Sash?
It really is, John. I think the SVD bowlers here having a good plan here and executing that plan well. Unfortunately for Forrester, falling into the trap. You know, an option here could also be just using the pace with the 2 guys up. You know, that's what we talked about as batting. You've got to be able to adapt your game, knowing that's quite a big hit. You know, if you hit a 6 there, you really have to hit it well. And I think with the fielder as well, kind of realised how big of a hit because he was about 10 yards in.
Yeah, he was.
So that's what I've been saying. There wouldn't be balls in Forrester's area.
Yeah.
Using the dimensions of the field, big square boundary. And the most important thing was that there was pace off, balls were travelling. Forrester needs to generate all the pace, miss time, and it's a wicket for Jardine as the Badgers are clawing their way back into this game. Knight 60 for 2, new batter to the crease, Patrick Botha, world of experience, and the Badgers is right back into in this. Another good over here from Jardine. Only conceding 4 on a wicket, 2 balls to go. His first ball here to Patrick Botha.
Beautiful bouncer. That's the one off the over. Yeah, we're sticking to a plan and they're doing it well, very disciplined here. And you can just feel again as wickets are falling, pressure back, getting those dots. There's all to play for in this game.
That's not a ploy. We see that often in T20 cricket because T20 cricket mostly gets played on small fields. All of a sudden with a bigger playing area, as Jardine is really busy with Andy spell here. 1 for 6 in 2 overs. As T20 gets played on smaller fields, with this bigger field, you can use the shorter ball as an option. Pace off. You need to hit a good shot to clear the square boundaries. So well done there to Jared Jardine as the Knights are 60 for 2 off the 7.
Gentlemen, I'm definitely feeling a bit of momentum shift here because I can see the fielders are becoming more vocal. Seems like these two bowlers, Jardine and Jacobs, are really bringing things back for the SWD Badgers.
Now we spoke about it earlier with Van Vuren's third over. And in this case, with him being so fired up, will you bring him back for a third, Sash? In this case, different circumstances.
I think I would. I think to take that.
Oh, catching opportunity in the deep. No, just lands
Just
short.
takes a single. I think, John, that's a great point that you just mentioned. Like I said, the Knights, the SWD Badgers need a wicket here, and I think with Jardine bowling quite well, I would give him another one. Take another wicket, because one more wicket here, and the Knights are on the back foot here, and the momentum changes. So wickets are the name of the game here.
With Jacobs, interestingly, he's not coming around the wicket this time around. Do you think we'll still see the offing?
It's a good question here, John. We'll
No leg wicket in place.
one off cow, deep square,
We have our leg spin here. Yep.
goes for the leggy.
Gets that fight on dot ball.
It almost seems like deep square and cow are very square. Cow almost seems like a deeper wicket.
Must say, very difficult skill to juggle between off spin and leg spin here. Carl Jacobs doing it very well. As Pat Botha, it's ball down the ground too long off one.
I think there's a lot of other bowlers that can't even control their normal stock ball for 6 balls in a row, and Jacobs clearly saying, I can do 2 things in one.
Standard spinners field with wicket vacant.
We're speaking about the game evolving. Is this going to be a stock thing from now on? Your spin is your leg spin as well.
Halfway through the over here. Over already one for the Badgers. I would feel they would like to defend this as one goes for sweeper. Goes to sweeper, excuse me. Snyman there, only taking one.
Bit of a change of action coming
Yeah,
up.
coming around, that probably means he's going to bowl his off spinner
Spinner,
now.
yeah.
And actually, very good awareness as the overall's already won by the Badgers. Once he finished the over out, well bowled. Takes the pace off slightly there. Only 3 runs from the over so far, 1 ball to go. It's well bowled again.
Speaking about game awareness, with the angle is coming, the ball's not really spinning, just skidding on. That's how the first wicket fell. Trying to force the ball into the sweeper vacant area. Not one delivery has actually gone to sweeper thus far. This is becoming a really very technical battle. Tactics are really playing well here for the SVD. We're going to see. Sash, is he going to continue? I know we've got a new bowler.
We've got a new bowler coming into the
Right.
attack.
Yeah,
No, it's
Did it
still-
say?
No, he's taking. No, he's coming back for his third.
I like this from the SWD Badgers. I think they sense a certain opportunity here. I think one wicket over here can really change the game.
Jardine in his third over again, middle up. Probably going to be on his side. Oh, he pitches it up and
One bounce 4. Man, not on the boundary. Would always ask the question, could he have gotten there? Taken the risk. It is a big boundary. Players do tend to come in a couple of feet.
you see the difference again. The pace on delivery just flies that much further. It's really difficult, it's not as easy as it seems being a boundary fielder on a big boundary. How much off is 10 off and how much off is 5 off? And that fielder again misjudged it. The slight westerly breeze took the ball over his head, 1 bounce for Jardine. He pitches it up. That's not where you want to bowl. Pace on, look at that.
Beautiful shot.
Great shot over mid on for 6.
Stunning shot there.
That was 6.
Yeah, there's confirmation.
Yeah, I see again, gents, pace on. Slightly pitched up. Mid-on is inside the ring, and that is welcome runs for the Knights.
Really had to do well there to get that over mid-on. Not really easy getting it on the up. Patrick Burton taking the attack now to SVD.
Interesting third ball, pace off into the wicket, well bowled. Back with ITEC to cow corner for one.
I think this is the second kind of misjudgment of a catch we've seen today. Probably shows how difficult it is to field on this outfield. I think Oya mentioned a good point in terms of how much is 10 off or 5 off, and dealing with a big boundary like this, you know, it's quite difficult to judge where you need to be. You know, if it's a shorter boundary, obviously you know I have to be on the edge, because you know you don't really have to stop twos, but here it's almost like you have to find a balance between.
Yeah, and if you don't have a
Big shot there, and that goes
pulls it onto the embankment for 6.
That's a beautiful
The
shot.
team bowling to his field. Jock Snowman couldn't care. Ball set up, he just pulled it onto the embankment, and again momentum shifting now towards the Knights as 86 is required from 68 deliveries. Jock Snowman quite set.
Now Sash, I lift up my hands and say, this third over. This third over.
Yes.
It's always difficult as a T20 bowler to bowl free on the bounce. As this fifth ball is going to be interesting what the Knights is going to do. Are they going to keep on attacking? As they do, he uses his feet, hits it over mid-off, and now it's becoming a big over for the Knights. Great shot by Jock Snowman.
You could have not asked for a better over for the Knights at this stage of the game.
Just like that fearless mindset of the Knights here. Against Jardine was busy with a good spell, and now all of a sudden he's, you know, after only going for 6 and 2 overs, he's got 1 ball to go in his third over, and he's already went for 27. So good counter punch here from the Knights. Just on that point of the playing area, you know, there's not a lot of teams with a field this size. So how often actually do you train that? How often do you train catches, that, especially boundary catches, that goes over your head and you still need to back paddle and take the catch? Oh, someone goes for the cute option.
Oh,
Again, the bowler not behind the stumps.
is that going to be costly?
Curls, yeah. Just interestingly, just before that ball was bowled, did you see the fielding change?
Yeah.
Yeah. Deep extra cover, deep point. Very interesting fields here today.
Yeah, that was just obviously just to get out of the over. The over already went for 21 runs, so that was just for Jardine, kind of like as a death option, I suppose, just to maybe get out of the over, knowing that the Knights identified it as a big over, they're going to keep on attacking.
New bowler here, Thomas
Yeah,
Carver.
Thomas Carver, he's a left arm Chinaman, a lot of experience, terrific player. Always good to see a quality player like him, but yeah, also to mention he's up against quality batters at the moment. Big moment in the game this, I feel. I feel this is maybe the Garner Badger's best bowler, so he's on at Willow's End. Same on the sweeps to deep square for 1.
Yeah, it's just interesting going back to that last over. You know, Jardine looking really, really good, and just but with Pat Buerta taking one in the beginning of the over, just how quickly the momentum changes. You know, you're on top of it. You're feeling his control. I mean, his bounces were beautiful in the first 2 overs, and just how quickly it falls away again.
Yeah, so we see Thomas Carver trying to squeeze a bit more pressure. He's got a mid-wicket in play. Only 1 point, which opens the option of the reverse sweep. And Pat Buerta plays it off the back foot into the offside for 1.
I feel like this partnership is key for the Knights. I think these are 2 of the most experienced players in their team, their batting lineup. And it's always good to have a bit of experience there.
Carver to Snyman, vacant with wicket, third ball. Snyman goes for a slog sweep, mistimed, and the long on doesn't make his ground. Ball lands safely.
Valiant effort in the deep. You can just feel that pressure was just starting to build a bit. Big shot coming into play. Jock Snyman really looking to up the ante. Really confident in the way he bats, knows his ability, knows what he can do, and that's what he's trying to display here today.
Yeah, we all know that's the way Jock plays, but the Knights are going well. They're 90 for 2. We're on the 10th over as he bowls a goodly, great ball. And
Over Thursday, another one is stolen. But you can't just help feel there was just a half chance again at the non-strikers end.
I'm wondering if that was even supposed to be a single.
yeah, exactly. And now they end up with 2 runs. 2 balls to go in this 10th over. Carver to Snyman. He takes it away again. Well bowled. Home at wicket. You know, Snyman fancies the slog sweep. He's going to keep on taking it away from him. Last ball of the over. Ball by Carver again. Finishes a good over there. Might as well been a wicket as well. His first over only going for 6 runs. We're halfway at Mangaung Oval. The ITEC Knights 92 for 2 after 10 overs. They're chasing a target of 167, needing another 75 runs of 60 balls as we going into the last half of this match. Jock Snyman currently on 34 not out, and Patrick Witter on 14 runs not out, as another bowling change is being made from the Loch Logan end.
I can't help but feel that if SVD want to win this match, wickets need to fall right now. Carver's looking good from the one end. Let's see what this Kelly Smuts can do from the other.
Kelly Smuts pitches it up, bat hits it up, hard down the ground, too long off for 1. Patrick Wood, our season campaigner here, you would like to see the team through over the line here, guys.
I think you're right. Oh yeah, I think both these 2 experienced campaigners would love to kind of bat through. The game is nicely poised here, and I think a little bit of that pendulum is probably swinging to the Knights' favour.
Oh, Jock Snyman picks that up over deep square for 6. That's a terrific shot. Kelly Smuts bowling with short third, short fine up. He's obviously going to try and bowl it quite full, pace off. But that was just a great pickup shot by Jock.
Puts it on the pads and says, "Thank you very much." Flicks him for 6.
Jock likes it there. He's a strong bottom end player. He's not going to mind a ball that's missing next time.
Yeah, really coming out here and he's hitting them cleanly, isn't he? Yeah, it's coming beautifully off the bat.
Oh, he hits the deck hard. This might be out.
Oh no! Big drop in the deep as Jock Snyman is dropped at cow corner.
That is a massive turning point in this game.
100 up for the Knights. Again, we see the Badgers using the dimensions of the field, banging it into the wicket, and Jock mistimes the ball, pace off again, and just the slightest mistime. Unfortunately for the Badgers, how big of a cost would that be with only 67 more runs required?
Oh, and as to rub salt into the
wound.
wounds, the ball trickles past the big inside edge, makes it all the way to the boundary.
Yeah, well, that's cricket for you.
That's cricket for you, isn't it? Yeah, now Now the momentum is heavily favoured into the night side. They only require 6.8 runs and over 63 from 56. Who knows if that catch was taken on the cow boundary. Jock Simon is going at the race of knots. Big moment, guys, in the match right there. Bangs it into the wicket. But missed times back to the bowler.
Sash with head in hands here, as a former captain, understanding how important that moment was in the context of this game. How do you get your guys back into this, knowing that we've got to create that again, we've got to keep fighting.
Yeah, let's be honest, guys. The Badgers fielding overall so far has been below par. I mean, there was a couple of run-out opportunities. There was a ball hanging in the air for long, which went to ground. Drop catch there at Cow. Can't underestimate the value of fielding in white ball cricket.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that is literally what I was about to say. I think that wicket was a head dropper. You just saw everyone just drop their heads, and we have to be honest with ourselves here. The Badgers haven't really turned up with the fielding, and I think that was a massive chance, especially the type of batsman Jock is, where he could really turn the game, to the night side. I think that's a big chance. We'll see how much they have to pay to the Badgers, and Carver to continue.
Well, I'm liking this option Carver brings with bringing the ball across Jock, just creating that chance.
Lots of room.
Wide out, that beaded cover. Sweeper needs to do a lot of work, and he couldn't get to the ball. Good effort, but it's in vain as Pat Botha hits a 4, 3 covers.
Great shot from Botha. Carver just straying too wide there in that occasion, and Pat Botha says thank you very much and spreads his hands. I just saw something interesting there, gentlemen. Carver just swapping the bails, using a little old tactic of Stuart Broad, just to change a bit of luck.
Badgers is going to need to have luck to restrict the Knights from here. Only 58 required from 53 balls as Carver pitches it up.
Oh my word.
Well, looks like that strategy works. Let's swap the bails.
Who's going to call Stuart Broad?
Botha will be disappointed.
Oh no.
Big wicket there as well.
Straight ball.
Can't help but feel that was unnecessary at this point, cruising along. But the wicket has fallen. The wicket has fallen. SVD has been desperately looking for, especially after the disappointment in the last over, can they start clawing back? As the new man hits to the middle, Garnetar looking to make his impact.
Garnetar, that's the kind of character you want by the crease now. Starting the team home over the line. He's accustomed to batting in the power play up front, but to keep the right hand, left hand combination going. Garnet sees himself coming in a bit later here. Team needing 58 from 52 deliveries. Garnet's a good player of spin, so we would like to see the Knights home here.
Just an interesting question here I thought of, guys. I don't know what your take is on this, but obviously as a T20 batsman, certain guys will get shifted down the order, and just as we pointed out, the left-right combination, and certain guys won't bat where they want to bat. How difficult is it to adapt to your game, in the game when you say, you're going to bat 3, and then all of a sudden you see this left-right combination and you ended up batting 5. How difficult do you guys think it is to adjust for a batsman?
Yeah, I think Sasinta, that's a very good point. Valid question. I think well played by Garner, trying to your vacant mid wicket. Good first ball actually from Carver, right on the stumps, from the straight. I feel the batter needs to be able to adapt, isn't it? There's obviously a batter like Jock Snyman who likes it up front, and who fancies facing bowling with the field up. But a versatile player like Garnetar, I think he's able to adapt. adapt his game and his skills to the type of bowling he's going to face and to the fields that he's set. I've never liked the idea, especially towards the deaf, sending a pinch hitter in before a batter. Because if that's a batter's job, he needs to be able to adapt. I don't have a problem that much of sending a pinch hitter up front, kind of to get off to a good start. But in this instance, I feel even if you would maybe chase for a bonus point victory, I feel the batter needs to be able to do that, because that's ultimately what he trains for the entire week. How would you feel, Sashita, as a batsman yourself?
Look, I definitely agree with you on that point. You know, it obviously is difficult to adjust, but I think it comes down to you trying to adapt your game, especially in this fast-paced moving game. We can see, you know, spinners bowling left and right, leg spin, off spin, you know, batsmen using all this innovative shots. And I think as a cricketer, you need to be able to adjust your game. Also, I think it's a type of identity you play as a batsman. I mean, if you're not a hard hitter, I think this is quite a good situation for Tar to come in, especially with the skill he has to rotate strike. You need a guy like that now, you know, and especially with Snyman there being the big hitter, I think this is a good balance. And you know, it comes down to also the team or the coach with the captain in the change room to kind of adapt and see like, well, what's best for my team right now, and what can we do, and which is the right batsman. So
yeah, I think, you know, in this game, we've been talking about it all day. It's become so high demanding. You know, your coach just wants everything from a player. You know, you need to be able to do everything. You know, your bowlers in the old days, they just needed to bowl. Now you want them to bat as well. Fielding has to be high.
Carl Jacobs back into the attack from the Logan end, as we see Garnet Tar immediately off the reverse sweep.
Yeah, and just as a point to prove, you know, we always remember the classic 4-3-8 game, and there's an iconic interview with Boeta Dippenaar afterwards, and said, you know, the best thing that could happen is him going out early in that game. You know, it was not just part of his game, playing that way.
That's wrong played by Garnet Tar as he takes a scam and single.
I think
Stark Simon on the strike.
I think just watching Garnet bat now, we know that he opens the batting, and he likes to, you know, use the pace, and, you know, the ball's hard, the guys are up. We can see him kind of adapting his game already right now by looking at his boundary options more square behind the wicket. So using that, using your bat, you know, to play more sweeps and reverse, and I think that's what Garnet is looking for as in terms of a boundary option. So that's also another way of looking at how you can adapt your game plan.
That's exactly what we speak about. The batter needs to be, look, we're not saying it's easy, we understand it's quite difficult, but a batter needs to be able to adapt, and like Garnet just displayed, adapting his game towards a slightly softer ball. Field is out, and he's pulling out shots like the sweep. But Jock Simon is a very powerful shot for 6 off the back foot. It's a great shot. Carl Jacobs, he feels that the batter is going to attack him, sets a field which makes quite sense. He brought cover around to point. There's 3 fielders on the offside inside the ring. Deep cover is out, but he dropped it down short, and Jock Snyman, he doesn't matter if Cow's on the boundary, he's going to pull it over, isn't he?
Yeah, that's a beautiful shot. That was like Heinrich Klaasen-esque there.
Carl Jacobs bowling leg spin to Jock Snyman. On this occasion, he takes one powerful shot to long on down the ground.
Beautiful cricket that.
Yeah.
6 single. I think it's important for Garnet to also just realise that it's key that he also stays there in with Jock and keeps rotating strike. Knights are really sticking to the run rate here.
Yeah, that is where a player like Garnet is handy. He can play the situation that's given in front of him. He plays a low risk shot there for no run. He is able to play in this situation like we just saw, a couple of sweeps maybe, or reverse, but keep the ball on the ground with the fielders out. As the Knights only require 47 more from 42 deliveries. Jock Snyman 49 not out. Thomas Carver bowling from the Willows End. The Knights is 120 for free after 13 overs.
I think also just to our listeners, I think we've mentioned the point of being adaptable, and you ask yourself the question, what is this adaptability? I think it's important to realize your adaptability happens during training sessions. That's where you train your skill to become better at something that you're not. So what we're trying to emphasize is that you need to train that skill really well so it becomes a habit.
Carver to
Oh, good shot.
Like down leg from the start, to be honest. So I'm just looking for a low risk option for one. Yeah, so I think that's a very good point, and I think to simplify it as a batter, you always want to go towards your strengths, isn't it? Whatever your strength is, that's yeah, if you draw from your strengths, that's the best possible chance of you executing your skill, and that's what you do at training sessions. Carver to Snyman as he was beaten. I don't think he read the goodly there, to be honest. That's Snyman. That's a terrifically well played 50. All century up for Jock. Only from 54 deliveries. Very powerful, very destructive.
Beautiful innings here from Snyman. And we were talking about this matchup between Carver and Snyman. Really, it's a good matchup so far. Just thinking back to SVD's innings, this is where that collapse started, and how it's biting him there now. You feel, oh man, those extra 20 runs, 15 runs would have been crucial at this point. But the Knights going steadily here.
The Knights only require 46 from 40 from this point on. Jock Snyman really would like here to see the team as a senior character in the team. He will like to see the team over the line.
Oh, good shot there. And the finger goes up. And Garnet is dismissed. We knew Carver is the danger man, and he's delivered. So the wicket has fallen. Oh, and does this change things? Do we sense a bit of desperation? Not just yet, but a wicket has fallen. Garnet has to leave the field, scoring 3 runs. And yeah, Knights 121 for 4 after 13.
Just feel Thomas Carver, he's getting into the rhythm of his bowling with his wrist spin. Very good delivery there, stock ball, nice and fast at the stumps. Garnet looking square off the wicket, misses out on the sweep, and that's straight in front. Leg before wicket, as the new batter makes his way to the crease. Tian van Vieren. Badge is still in for a chance here. Thomas Carver still has 9 balls left in his spell. Looks like they have difficulty picking his googly, to be honest. So yeah, maybe they should look to try and see him through. They've got a bit of a buffer of runs to play here with.
Team, it's always rewarding when, as a captain, you put on the key man, you say, do the job for me, and he comes and delivers.
It's interesting to see what ball they're going to bowl here. The first delivery, slip back in play. Tian van Vieren on strike, no cover, no mid wicket. This is very interesting.
Encouraging the batsman to drive here with that slip. I like this field.
Coming hard towards the ball.
Illuminating googly.
Played. Very,
Plays
very
it
well played.
and he takes 2 runs brilliantly. Well done by Tian van Vieren there. Well bowled by Thomas Carver as well. Challenging in a batter, he knows they don't have enough runs to play with. He's going to need to take wickets, sets a field maybe to get a potential wicket. Well done. Good cricket from both teams. 2 balls remaining in this 14th over. Drops it short, well played by Van Vieren to Cal Corner. That was the googly again.
Here's the matchup. Here's the big man.
Interesting to see how Snyman's going to play this. Is he maybe going to take 1 to be on strike the next ball of the first ball of the next over?
Slip falls back.
Literally nobody in front of the bat. Nice one. Well played.
I don't know about that, gentlemen, but I do not think that should be a single.
I was about to say the same. I mean, you've got 3 men behind square on the offside. I mean, it's just too easy, isn't it?
I just feel personally they don't have enough runs to play with. They might as well could have squeezed in a mid-wicket in a cover in a batter's face. Actually, try and force him to play a boundary shot and try and get a wicket. They're going to need to attack wickets to win this game. The Knights only requiring 7 runs and over. As we see a bowling change, it looks like Kwesi Gumedi is back into the attack. He's bowling from the Loch Logan end.
You have to say that Jark Snyman's wicket here is very, very crucial for the Knights and crucial for the Badgers to get him out here.
Thinking back to that drop catch, can they still turn it around this video?
Gumedi into the attack, short third, short fine, up in the ring. He's bowling to Snyman. He hits.
Shot.
That's a great shot. Not the best of balls to be bowled. If short third, short fine is up, if you're going to bowl with that field, you want to be bowling straight and not wide outside off. Snyman just leans back and cuts it through $4.
Beautiful, beautiful shot. Beautiful control. Really a statement of dominance.
Good start off the over for the Knights. Gumedi comes in from the Loch Logan end, he pitches it up. It's a better delivery of the field set. Right, they're taking on 2, again not great fielding by the Badgers.
Beautiful running there.
Fafiran realising the pressure situation in the moment of the game. The Knights want Snyman on strike and he gets Snyman back on strike. 6 from 2 deliveries.
Required run rate now only 6.3. Let's see what Gumedi can bring to do this. Bring this over back.
Good length delivery. Somehow maybe looking a bit square there. Oh, Snyman taking out the quirky paddle. Didn't think Snyman had that in his artillery, and he plays a great shot to the field that's placed. That's the normal field to be set to Snyman as he's a big hitter, and it's actually good to see he can adapt and play the sneaky paddle, which also goes for a boundary. The match now well in favour of the Knights. Only run a ball required, 32 runs or 32 balls.
Snyman with the statement of big hits and small flicks.
Well done there from Jark. He's playing a vital knob there. Again, John mentioned it earlier, that drop catch at cow corner. How dearly is it going to cost the Badgers? Well, it looks like it's going to be pretty dear from now on.
Talking about innovation, he's been playing beautiful, power hitting, just innovating his game. He's at this confidence level, his eyes in, and he's gone for the beautiful paddle shot.
Badgers now forced to change the field. They're going with a deep point, a deep cover. This is going to be outside off. It needs to be square leggers into the ring. Snyman goes again. It goes again. And it's 4 more. Valiant effort on the boundary, but it's not enough. That's brilliantly played from Snyman again. Sensing the opportunity, which is on the leg side behind square. Takes another paddle for 4 more.
If you wanted adaptability as a definition, it's right there.
Yeah.
Beautiful batting from Jark. I think that is exceptionally clever with the 2 guys up in the ring.
Just goes to show it's not that high risk option, is it? If a strong hitter like Jark Snyman can play the paddle well, and he hits it terrifically well down the ground, back to his strength, and they run 2. That's great running from Tiaan van Vuuren.
Now he can do no wrong at this point. Yeah, and Gumeri, disappointing over again. Just as it's slipping away. Carver still has that 1 over left. Will he come back? It's now or never, you should say.
Yeah, I think the Knights have a big enough cushion here, to be honest. I wouldn't be surprised if they just see this over out from Carver. But yeah, wonderful to see that previous over from Jacques Snyman able to be adapt. I know a lot of old-fashioned coaches and cricketers will look at the paddle as maybe a no-go option, but to be honest, medium pace, short far leg up, square leg up into the ring. That's not that high risk option for, well, at least not for a guy like Jacques Snyman.
See, a lot of people are playing paddle these days.
Carver, into his last over, he bowls, oh that's a strong hit by Tiaan van Vuren into the leg side, he takes one too long on. Yeah, I presume Sash, a guy with a lot of ball sense, you're probably not bad at paddle yourself.
All right. Enjoy the sport, it's very nice.
Sash, that might be the comment of the day.
Maybe Jacques been playing a lot of paddle.
Strange field setting, yeah, as Cal Corner came off the boundary, but he's not inside the ring, nor he's on the boundary. Oh, it's very strange field. This is the job to try and maybe take him on over Cal.
Oh no! Another drop catch, now at extra cover.
That is disappointing.
And then Jacques Snyman's dropped twice.
Tell you what, if I was Jacques, I'm playing the lotto today.
It's just unexpected at this level.
Carver bringing Cal up, bowling the googly. He knows Jacques is going to favour. He's in his last over. He tempts Jacques Snyman. Tiaan van Vuren going down the track. He mishits the ball to Cal Corner. They're pushing for 2, they're only taking 1. Must say, guys, for a bowler, that's extremely disappointing.
That was actually a very, very good plan.
Exactly. He pulls the tactic. He plays a bit with Jacques Snyman's ego. He bowls the googly. The batter falls for it. And just the awareness again. And let's be honest, that was a sitter. That was a sitter to cover who again dropped. And that pretty much sums up. You're not going to defend 167. As we discussed, 15 runs below par. Keep on dropping catches. That's not going to happen. A slip comes back into play.
Gut wrenching for a bowler.
Carver bowling the googly again, well played by Tiaan van Vuren on the back foot as they take 1.
You know, the old saying stands, you know, at school level, catches win matches.
100%, John. 2 balls to go in this Thomas Carver's last over. Googly pitching outside leg, and they jog through for a leg by. Well bowled again, no mid wicket, floats it up. Thomas Carver, he's got a world of experience and on the back of a pretty good SA20 campaign, he knows exactly what he's doing. Last ball here of the over of his spell.
I think he doesn't want to stop bowling here.
Yeah, well, let's be honest.
He's bowling a serious spell here.
Very good spell from Carver. Almost a lonely effort here in the Badgers outfit, bowling and fielding outfit. Snyman on strike. And he pulls it onto the embankment.
Massive.
Onto Castle Corner. That's a massive hit. That's disappointing for Carver to finish his spell like that, which was actually a pretty good spell. And the Knights now cantering through to win in their first match of this CSA T20 Challenge Division 2, the ITEC Knights versus the Garden Route Badgers.
Boys, safe to say that ball went for a drink.
Yeah, well, seeing it went into castle corner, Sash, it's safe to say it's straight into an ice cold castle draft.
Yeah, well, you can't help but feel that sums up the effort here today. You know, beautiful bowling, beginning of the over. Chance was created, got dropped for the final ball of a well bowled 4 overs. He's dispatched into castle corner. Disappointing.
And we'll see the Knights being on the driver's seat here.
Yeah, they can't bring home Sash as the Badgers, Carl Jacobs, who hasn't bowled decently, leg spin and off spin. He's back into the attack. Look, Knights only requiring 14 from 4 overs. So Badgers is going to need to bring a couple of fielders maybe into the ring, but looks like they're going to play it out with only 4 fielders inside the ring, nobody in front of the bat.
Oh, beautiful ball, and the finger goes up. LBW.
Yeah, that looked pretty adjacent. No real decision there by Tian van Vuren. He misses a full and straight delivery. Well bowled by Carl Jacobs, and the Badgers gets another wicket.
Well ball there. That looks so plump from here. I think the only way for the Badgers to get back here is to take a couple of wickets here and put some pressure on.
You know, it's something we highlighted before the game, and I think SVD would be disappointed with themselves in not applying that pressure after the power play. It just slipped from them. But we spoke about the depth of the Knights' batting lineup, and you know, at this point, they're really not going to be trouble chasing at 3.6 and over. Just didn't have that pressure in the beginning. Chances were created these last couple of overs, but just didn't give themselves a chance. Just not that well.
Yeah, John, I just feel you know, if you didn't help yourself by fielding poorly with the depth of this Knights batting. I mean, we've got Aubrey Swanepoel, he's strolling in here at number 7, the Knights captain. He would like to see it through to his for his team. Being 15 runs below par, and then dropping catches as well. It's always going to bring you short.
And considering the position they were in with their batting, really poised, making 180, daring 190, just falling short.
Yes, we see the first ball for Aubrey Swanepoel, again nobody in front of the bat. Carl Jacobs probably going to bowl a leg spinner here. He has been bowling decently between his off spin and leg spin.
Oh, good shot, and the finger goes up. And Aubrey Swanepoel is dismissed off his first ball, and hat-trick ball to come. And oh my word, here we go. Have they left? Still feels there's too much or too little left to fight for, but we might just have something going here. Hat-trick ball to come. Aubrey Swanepoel, captain of the Knights, will be very disappointed with that. As Oya mentioned, he would love to have seen his side over the line, just falling. But I mean, that's also the game. It does happen from time to time, but here we are.
This whistle just adding a bit of nerves from the Knights. Good ball by Carl Jacobs, again challenging the stumps without him at wicket, but must say disappointing for Aubrey Swanepoel. Kind of just want to flick it into the leg side. And, yeah, that also looked pretty out. Isaac de Gale strolling to the crease. He's a top line batter. He's strolling in at number 8 off 4-day 100 against the Northern Cape Heat in the 4-day final competition. Just adds a bit to the nerves to the Knights, and there's 14 runs required from 22 balls.
Do SVD start believing? I think if the big wicket of Jock Snyman had fallen, I think it would have been a much different case. With him still at the non-striker's end, he must be still feeling very calm for the Knights if you're in the batting dugout.
Harley takes one on the hat-trick ball. The slip was in play, cover was nice and close. Unfortunately, Carl Jacobs not challenging the stumps there, and Harley is off the strike.
You almost feel the sense that it was a little too late. However, you never know with cricket.
Here's the big man now. Can he take this wicket? Change the game.
It's a long RP. It's an overcow corner for 6. That's exactly what the Badgers didn't need right now. Maybe to pull off an upset here, but that ball is not going to help the cause. As he dragged it down, Jock Snyman just pushed back. And that's onto the embankment on the main pavilion side.
Yeah, Jock Snyman just saying, listen, I'm still here. I'm still in control. Thank you very much.
Only 7 runs to go here for the Knights. There's 2 balls left in this Carl Jacobs over. Jock Snyman takes a 1 into the mud. Oh, they're taking 2. That's brilliant awareness from Isaac de Ghali. Knowing the game might get a bit close or a bit nervy, he takes it easy to vacant mid-wicket. It's also well played by Jock Snyman.
Brilliant batting. Just as I said, the Knights are on the driving seat. I feel like Jock is actually driving the bus.
It's interesting what he might try and do here. 5 runs required. Is he going to take 1 to stay on strike, or is he going to look to finish it right here now?
He'll back himself.
Sensible.
Very sensible. 3 overs to go, 4 runs required. Can't see the game going further than the next over.
Yeah, so just in summary for this game, if you're in SVD dugout, feedback, what would you be taking from this game going forward into this competition?
Look, I think this game is going to be a massive reflection on them to first realize that obviously they're not far off. I think obviously, from both aspects, the fielding and the batting, they must have thought that they've probably thrown the game away with their fielding. I think if you take into consideration that Snyman was dropped twice, that's a big opportunity to change the game. And obviously
Marcelo picked from the Willers end.
And obviously closing the game off, I think they were about 20 runs short here, especially with the position they're in. So I think there's a lot to learn from the Badgers in this innings, and I don't think they're far off it. I mean, there's just a few things that they probably need to improve on going forward.
Yeah, I think they now 2 losses in a row. They haven't been clinical enough today, were they? I mean, they were set for a big score, couldn't capitalise on that, and then in chasing only trying to defend 167 weren't clinical enough with the field in the field. Don't feel they were that far off of the ball though. They had good tactics. Didn't help themselves in the field, and it's just that slight awareness, a bit more urgency, which wins you games. You wanna defend 167 as Pitt goes straight to the Ghali, takes 1 to deep square. Only 2 required for the Knights here. A lot of positives to take from for the Knights' first win, also their first game, the rest of the campaign.
I think this was a very good display from the Knights, and they controlled this innings quite well, specifically with Snyman.
Chips it straight up in there. Miss heat.
Oh no!
Catch. No, that sums it up. And that's also the match that ran to. That wraps it up for the Badgers. Let's be honest, terrible fielding display. And that's the match, ladies and gentlemen. ITEC Knights win this CSA Second Division T20 Challenge match by 4 wickets.
Oh, and he couldn't have written it better, ending it in that way.
If I was Snyman, I was playing the lot at right today.
Yeah, I think a lot of positives for the Knights. Good spell there from Dane Pitt in the middle. I thought the seamers brought it back nicely in the def. Good def plans, I must say. Very impressed with the execution of their def plans. You could see they had clear tactics, clear plans, but most importantly, you can have the tactics afield. There still needs to be execution, and that they did. Restricted the Garden Route Badgers to a below par 166, and I say chased quite comfortably. Slight hiccup here towards the end, as the Garden Route Badgers didn't help themselves.
What would you like to see today? What I think the Knights really did well. There were moments where the momentum shifted, but they never let it get out of their hands. They stuck to their gut, they kept their grit, and they just kept the game within their balance. And when they could capitalize, they did so ever so well. So well done, Jock. Snyman getting a standing ovation as the team applauds him now. That's a match-winning knock, gentlemen. That's a match-winning knock.
Certainly is. I think Jock played beautifully well, and applause from his teammates.
Yeah, Jock will enjoy this one. He's a terrific team, man. Well done to Jock. 87 not out, carrying his team through, batting through the innings. He has been dropped a couple of times, but nonetheless, he takes his team over the line. Again, a display of power hitting of the highest standards. Well done to the Knights. Right, guys, thanks for tuning in here at the CSA T20 Challenge match between the ITEC Knights and the 6-gun drill Garden Route Badgers. Shintai, thank you for your commentary today. John Harmer, great insights from you guys. And thank you for tuning in until the next game live from here at Mangaung Oval. Thanks for tuning in, guys.